What's up, guys? It's your boy Speed here, and let's get hyped. We got 7.32. It's not a letter patch. Can you believe it? That means it's gotta be crazy. I have literally not looked at anything yet. We're gonna be going through this patch completely fresh, talking about what is good, what is bad, what is crazy, what we gotta try, everything in and out, and let's get into it. I am excited. Also, I wanna tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm gonna be able to help you. Like, literally, with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So I'm not going to go over things like these number changes unless I really get the gist right away. Basically, let's start with added Primal Beast to Captain's mode. Okay, that doesn't apply to most of you guys. Changed XP required per level. So basically, it seems like it's a little bit harder to level up at every single level. In fact, much harder to level up when it comes to the later levels, like seemingly significantly harder to scale into the later levels. However, there's been changes to streak experience, so I'm not gonna focus on this. It's a little bit too complicated. Added Flag Bearer creep. Starting in minute 2, one of the melee creeps in every second creep wave is replaced by a Flag Bearer. It has 40% magic resist and an inspiration aura, which gives +3 health regen to all allies within a 700 range. Killing an enemy flag bearer will grant you and each allied hero within 1200 radius bonus gold equal to 100% of a melee creep's bounty. Does not grant gold on deny and cannot be denied by heroes' abilities, e.g. demonic conversion. Okay, that's really cool. So this creep is going to be sort of, it's not really going to be like a cart. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with the idea of like guarding carts and making sure your cart doesn't die so you can push towers. I don't necessarily think this creep will be as extreme as a cart, only because it's not nearly as tanky to physicals, to physical autos. It still seemingly has the same HP as a melee creep, but it is very tanky against nukes. So it is something to consider. It's definitely going to be a creep you want to secure with nukes, right? Because that bonus gold is huge. It's a huge spike in gold for your lane every single time it comes up. And so you absolutely want to nuke the heck out of this creep. Even though it has magic resist, people are going to secure it with spells, and that's going to be pretty important. Dire Ramp is now deeper in the jungle. Okay, so it looks like they've made some map changes. Nothing too crazy, though. I guess the map is probably about the same, but the Dire Ramp is now deeper within the jungle. Same position as before, but there's less high ground near Roshan. Okay, so basically Dire Side is nerfed when it comes to its ability to contest Rosh, which makes sense. It's probably a good change because Dire was winning a little bit too much at the recent major. Move Dire Outpost further away from the river to adjust the ramp being deeper, okay? And move the bounty rune further away from the river. So basically Dire Side is a little bit further away from the middle of the map, which is a big deal because if you want to stack camps and then go to the water rune, or if you just want to contest Rosh, you're going to be always a little bit further away from your high ground and your safe area, or just further away in general in terms of how long it takes you to get from point A to point B. Rework the trees. Outpost base teleport channel time increased from 5 to 6. I thought it was 6. Okay, that's weird. Remove small camps near mid lane. Whoa. Removed small camps near mid lane? Just straight up? That's crazy. That is going to change the mid meta because there's a lot of heroes that just weren't great mid because they couldn't take the small camp. It's not that you had to pick a hero mid that could kill the small camp, but it was a big detriment if you didn't stack the small camp and farm it. So this is a huge nerf to certain heroes like Kunkka who thrive off the small camps. A huge nerf to these heroes. So that is massive. That's going to completely change the mid lane. It's going to encourage a lot more roaming and a lot less farming, which I think is good and will really change the tempo of Dota. So I think that's a fun change. It's going to make mid weird. Mid laners are going to be a lot more poor, but it's going to cause them to have to think more and really think about their side lanes a lot more. Glyph of Fortification is now refreshed whenever the first tower of each tier falls for that team. Really, once after the first tier 1 falls, after the first tier 2 falls? No, don't make split pushing when pushing worse. Oh, God. I feel like it's already pretty hard to push. Now you get an extra glyph every single time the first one of your tier towers fall. So it's going to make it way harder to push, like way harder to push. I don't really like that, to be honest. I feel like it was already a little bit hard to push. I guess they wanted to disincentivize like Death Ball, like these Lycan comps and so on, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that change. Fountain Invulnerability now applies on respawn, regardless of whether there's an enemy hero nearby. I didn't even know that was a thing. Passive gold per minute decreased. Okay, wow. Passive gold per minute decreased by 15%. I don't know what it was per minute. I think it was like 90-ish. So that's pretty significant if that's the case. It's quite a bit of gold over time. It's going to cause supports not to be able to complete items. Primarily, that will be the biggest thing. Ancient Backdoor Protection HP regen increased from 900 HP per second to 180 HP per second. So once again, making it way harder to push. So an Ancient's Armor. What? Ancient's Armor increased from 13 to 23? What? How do physical heroes even kill Ancients now? So basically, what this insinuates, it's not very clear, but what it insinuates to me is that heroes that can nuke Ancients, like Timber, Beastmaster, like heroes that have these AoE nukes that can clear through Ancients are massively buffed. Because like heroes like TA and TV and PL and Naga who want to kill Ancients, they still can, but it's way slower. That's a crazy change. Okay, BKB, Avatar now has a 50 mana cost. That's pretty important, so you can mana burn someone to make sure they can't BKB. You have to keep in mind that as part of your combo as well. For a hero like Razor, who has mana problems on his refresher BKB timing, this is actually a big problem. So it definitely could come into play. This definitely could come into play. It's a big buff for Animage. Like the Abyssal Animage timing, I guess. You're gonna have to be very careful if like your mana is dropping low and you wanted to hold your BKB, like he can't kill you, but he can burn your mana. This could become a big problem, actually. Duration increased from 4.5 to 5.5 seconds on Blade Mail. That's actually a pretty big buff. Huge buff to pretty specific heroes like Axe. Because most heroes don't buy Blade Mail, and I don't think this is going to cause most heroes to buy Blade Mail, but it is actually a massive buff, really it is, because it means the uptime is much better. Recipe cost decreased on Bloodstone, so the item is just 200 gold cheaper, straight up. The active spell lifesteal multiplier increased from 2 to 2.5. Wow, so big buffs to Bloodstone. Way better as an item now. Probably the biggest buff, I would say, to Leshrac in particular. Now it requires Blade of Alacrity, Belt of Strength, and a 450 gold recipe. Well, that is interesting. I don't think it makes the item worse by a lot. I think it's okay. The thing is, a lot of heroes, when they were buying Dragonlance, would buy the Bands of Elven Skin to amp up their farm. This buildup makes it way worse for those heroes, right? Because you're not going to buy the recipe, you're going to buy it last. But it's actually pretty good for a hero like Viper, who doesn't mind buying Belt of Strength, kind of likes it almost. So I don't think this is necessarily going to dissuade heroes from buying it. Also, the attack range was increased by 10, which is quite a lot, but the agi was decreased by 1, which is not terrible. I would say the item, you could buy it on every hero you bought it before. It's just a bit worse overall, I would say. Yule's Scepter of Divinity now purges first, then applies Cyclone modifier. Who knew that was even a thing? Huh. Okay. Damage increased on Falcon Blade by 2. That's pretty meh. Bonus health on Force Staff increased and cooldown decreased. Okay, slight buff. Cast range increased on Glimmer Cape by 50. That's quite notable. Magic resistance increased from 15 to 20%. That is a lot. I honestly think people can consider buying Glimmer just for the magic resist. Like 20% magic resist on a hero like Pudge, for instance, and then using the active is extremely useful. Like, it's just straight up good. So I honestly think people should consider this, like, just as an item that you can buy on cores. I mean, they increased the cast range as well, the fade time's better, it gives 20% magic resist, so it's like an upgrade to Cloak. So, I don't know, I think heroes can definitely consider buying Glimmer more casually, even on cores. I think it's an underrated concept. Guardian Greaves, considering the active's good. Guardian Greaves, recipe cost increased by 50. Total cost was decreased, so I guess they buffed some other item. Active healing increased from 300 to 350. This item still is probably garbage in 90% of games. When used on a neutral creep, will secure a neutral item drop if any is available. Whoa! Okay, so a Midas Buff. Pretty big Midas buff. It's gonna help you get your neutral items faster, which absolutely matters. So a buff to an item that was seemingly popular. That's pretty cool. Halberd, slight buff to the cast range. Helm of the Overlord. Lifesteal increased from 18 to 20% on heroes. Lifesteal now affects creeps by 50% of its value. Okay, so this is obviously a nerf to heroes like Lycan and Beastmaster, considering they don't really need the lifesteal on the main hero. It's way more about the units. And so this actually is a huge nerf to those heroes. Do I think it takes those heroes out of the meta? I do not think that is going to be the case. It's 8% less lifesteal, which is a ton, but I don't think it's going to really hurt the timing that much. So you can still pick those heroes if they didn't get nerfed individually. Pike, slightly better. Mage Slayer, magic resist increased from 20 to 25%. Pretty big increase. So Mage Slayer also as a casual magic resist item, very impressive at 25% resistance. Probably going to put you up to about 43% magic resistance total. Quite impressive. Lifesteal increased from 20 to 24% on heroes. It's actually a lot. Lifesteal now affects creeps. Oh, so that's like a lone druid nerf, I guess? Who else is that a lone druid nerf? Is that considered a creep? Wait, so does it mean, so you heal less when hitting creeps? That's kind of confusing. I might have taken it the wrong way. So if you're hitting a hero, you get 24% lifesteal, but if you're hitting a creep, you get 12%. So lifesteal is just way worse against creeps, which is like really bad because typically lifesteal is for creeps. I mean, obviously it can be for heroes on certain heroes, but even manning up with Mask of Madness for the lifesteal component is a bit odd most of the time. So, kind of weird. I guess I read that wrong. Mechanism, an item that was quite good. Recipe cost decreased from 900 to 800. So this item's just better. Really, I thought mech was in a decent spot. I thought it was under purchased. And the cooldown was decreased by 15 seconds. Okay, I think mech will be a pretty meta item. I think mech's gonna be pretty meta. It's 100 gold cheaper and 15 seconds better. That is huge. I think mech will be very, very popular. That's going to be one of my takes. Lifesteal increased. Okay, so basically, lifesteal is worse against creeps by a lot. Armor increased on Nullifier. Nullifier cooldown decreased from 11 to 10. Such a short cooldown. Pretty crazy. This item late game in the right games is pretty OP. Insight Aura Magic Resistance from 12 to 15%. Honestly, pretty good. 15% AoE resistance is quite good. Burn Mischance increased from 10 to 15. Huge. That's actually a big buff to Radiance. 5% extra Mischance is kind of a lot. Refresher. Oh, okay. Cooldown by 10 seconds, mana cost by 50. Rager is gonna have that hero in particular. I still think it can be played as like a right-click carry easily. I don't think it will have mana problems if you don't go Refresher, but if you do go Refresher, you have 150 more mana because of 2 BKBs and a Refresher now, which you can't really afford unless you're buying mangoes or you have like specific neutral items. So definitely seems kind of like a primarily targeted towards Razor nerfs, I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of what it seems to me, which I kind of respect that they're nerfing this instead of maybe the hero. I don't know yet, but mana cost increased on Refresher Shard by a lot as well. So I like that. I think it kind of makes the item a bit weird in certain situations because like supports will have mana problems late game with this, but all right. Satanic lifesteal increased on heroes. Unholy Rage bonus lifesteal decreased. It's still 175% when activated. Okay, so it's the same, but it's worse against creeps. Okay. Now has a 15-second duration on Shadow Amulet. Interesting. I like that, actually. I like that. Even though it actually could matter in like a competitive standpoint, I think it's mostly a nerf to like griefers, which is pretty funny. Okay. Lifesteal. Okay, so Vlad's lifesteal, once again, better on heroes. Actually by a lot. It's just worse against creeps, but that's a lot. 6% extra, like AoE, I would imagine, right? Is a lot, so it's a pretty big buff. It is worse against creeps, but I think you're primarily using this for team fights. So that's actually probably a buff to Vlad's. Now Purchaser, okay, we already read that. Slight nerf to Witchblade, probably doesn't make the item that bad, but it is a nerf. Lifesteal increased, okay, same thing on Wraithback. Neutral item, Seeds of Serenity. New tier 1 item, 100 health, that's a lot of health. Active, Verdale. Target the ground with a 350 radius, provides 8 HP regen to all allied units when they're in the area of effect. Lasts 14 seconds, cooldown 40 seconds. Okay, honestly not bad. It's a solid item. I wouldn't say it's like broken or anything like that, but it's good. 100 HP on supports early game is good. It's just 100 HP. That's always solid. And then, 8 HP regen for 14 seconds. That's a lot of HP. Early game on heroes with sustain issues, heroes like Viper and Razor, it's really nice as well. Makes them tanky, gives them a way to sustain their game a bit. So very good item. Definitely situationally quite nice for a lot of heroes. Lance of Pursuit, new tier 1 item. 200 mana. That's a lot of mana. Passive Hound, attacking an enemy when they are facing away from the hero. Okay, so like backstab, it's like Ricky backstab. Grants 15 attack damage and slows them by 12 to 6%. Wow, that is extremely powerful on certain heroes. It's like an Orb of Venom, but it gives you like 15 damage, which is a lot of damage when heroes are running away. It does mean they're running away. It also doesn't work really against creeps because you can't really hit them in the back for the most part. You can a little, but not really. So, weird item. It's cool. It's cool. I guess it's good on like ranged heroes when they're like kiting creep camps and the creep camps turn around. It's like a lot of damage early game, but weird item for sure. The 12% slow is very good on certain melee heroes early game though. Like Monkey King, for instance. Could be quite nice. New tier 1 item, +5 all stats. That's quite a lot, like Ocean Heart. Passive, Rites of Elashar. Each time the wearer is attacked, they gain a stack of 0.5 mana regen, which is a decent amount, up to 5 stacks. Stacks last for 10 seconds. So you get 5 mana. Am I doing that wrong? Yeah, you get 5 mana. It's actually probably a lot of mana, yeah. It's probably a lot of mana. It just depends on like for instance on Timber, this could be quite nice because you have mana problems and you can get hit a lot. But like for a lot of heroes, you're not really getting hit too much, you know what I mean? So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit, I think situationally, it's too niche. The thing is you can just use it for 5 stats, you know what I mean? It's like, you can just take it for the 5 stats and then the passive's nice. But I would say it's very good on Timber. So there's one. Chipped Vest, removed item, or like Axe, could be good on Axe. Removed Chipped Vest, that's a big one. That was one of my favorite items, pretty busted item, I think. Kima Optic, wow, that's a big nerf, because this is an item people would hold over like tier 2 items, sometimes even tier 3 items. Ocean Heart removed, nerf to mid laners. Eye of the Visor, or Vizier. New tier 2 item, a lot of cast range, but less max mana. Whoa, okay, huh. So, I mean, you're gonna use it on supports for sure. It's a lot of cast range. You're gonna use, yeah, you'll use this on supports. And there's a lot of supports that can get away with having 20% less max mana as long as they have a magic wand. So, it's a lot of max mana decrease, I will admit. This is a lot. But you'll be fine. If you have like, yeah, if you have a wand, especially if you have mana boots, it won't be too much of a problem, I think. And you'll take the cast range. Because cast range is kind of just a broken, you know, like stat to have. New tier 2 item, 8+ all stats, kind of a lot, 10 attack damage, solid. Passive Crack Shot. Next attack fires projectiles at 2 additional targets within attack range. Only works on ranged heroes and does not proc attack modifiers. Cooldown 12 seconds. Okay, it's okay. It like helps you farm, for sure. Not that much faster because it's a 12-second cooldown, which is a lot. But it's 10 damage and 8 stats, which is 18 damage. That's just a decent damage item, you know what I mean? It's like a solid damage item. It's a good amount of stats. It's just a well-rounded item, for sure. So you can carry this on basically any core. Dagger of Ristal. New tier 2 item, 10 attack speed, decent. Consume 100 health to temporarily gain 40 attack speed. Last 8 seconds, cooldown 30 seconds. Pretty long cooldown, which is gonna make this item quite a bit worse. But honestly, 40 attack speed on certain heroes is very nice, especially on like lifesteal heroes. It's quite a lot. You know, heroes like TA can use this very well. Jug can use this very well. You know, you can proc it just before using Omni Slash. It's a big, oh, it's attack damage, not attack speed. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. With 10 attack speed. Wow, okay. So this is a big DPS item, actually. I read it as attack speed in my head. Maybe I even said attack damage, but this is a big DPS item. Big DPS item. 40 attack damage is a lot. That is a huge amount of damage. Especially if you're critting, like if you have some sort of crit, that's a big amount of damage on certain heroes. So yeah, this item, I mean, it is a very long cooldown, which I think is reasonable considering it's literally attack damage, but this will definitely be a very strong item. 10 attack speed solid, and then 40 attack speed is a lot. Essence Ring out, Favor Nade is out. That is the last item that would proc Lincoln, so okay, Lincoln's buff, technically. Quicksilver Amulet out, very strong item. Ogre Seal Totem, it's a tier 3 item, 12 strength, a lot of strength. Active Ogre Seal Flop. Flop forward like an Ogre Seal 2 times, dealing damage and slowing enemies by 100% for 1 second on each bounce. Okay. Honestly, I don't know the channel time. I'm not going to look at that right now. But if it's like an instacast, if it casts very quickly, very powerful item. It also doesn't seemingly get canceled by anything, so you can use it to disengage as well. And if that's the case where you can kind of initiate even when getting gone on, or disengage even when getting gone on, that is a very strong item. It will make you extremely survivable in combination with that 12 strength. Lifesteal now, okay, so they nerf Paladin Sword, remove Spider Legs. Damn, I love Spider Legs. They're one of my favorite items. I'm actually sad to see them go. I love Spider Legs. It's a big buff to Nature's Prophet though. Let's go, boys. The Leveler, removed item, okay. Havoc Hammer, item return. Shout out double. Ex Machina, mana cost increased from 0 to 350. Oh, okay. I guess they heard the clip where 33 like flamed the hell out of this item. Also Mirror Shield nerf, probably one of the best items as well. All right, let's get into the hero changes. Abaddon, Aphotic Shield, mana cost decreased, a huge buff, whoa. That is very low mana cost on a very effective level 1 trading ability. So huge buff to Abaddon in level 1, really nice for this hero. Scepter radius was decreased, so okay, making the Scepter worse, but I think that's fine. I don't really feel like picking Abaddon for the Scepter is particularly viable. I'm sure some people love playing this and will get triggered by that, but in general, not too big of a deal. Giving an Aghanim Scepter to an ally now grants Alchemist bonus damage and Spell Amp, even if Alchemist doesn't have one yet. That's a really big buff to Alchemist, actually. It's quite nice, especially as the game progresses, because basically, if you don't understand it, Alch used to have to give himself an Ags, and then based on how many Ags he previously handed out, he'd get damage and Spell Amp. But now, seemingly, he just gets that damage and Spell Amp, which is really, really nice. Also, his level 10 talent was changed from 15 attack speed to Acid Spray armor reduction, which you're probably not going to take. You'll take the stun radius, because the stun radius is actually a really OP talent at level 10. 15 talent, 350 health, replaced with Acid Spray also grants armor to ally heroes. That's pretty trash. But we have the other one, 20 damage replaced with +1 damage per Greedful Greed stack. Max 24 damage. Okay, that's also just bad, because it's like inconsistent, generally. Okay, they nerfed him at level 15 like very hard. So, kind of an Alch nerf. And then they also, at level 20, they gave him Chemical Rage base attack time. Wow, 0.1 second at level 20. That is a big buff. Because you guys might not understand it. It seems like nothing, but it's a lot. I don't exactly even know how it works, but I can tell you for a fact, 0.1 second of base attack time is like a big deal. Like, it's very noticeable. So, there you go. Big buff to Alch. Worse at 15, but better at 20. Ancient Apparition, Ice Vortex Shard now also slows attack speed for the same amount as movement speed. Wow, that's pretty huge. The radius is better as well, but the duration is decreased. I would say that's a pretty big buff overall, especially to the Shard, which is a very strong Shard. Slow duration increased on the Chilling Touch all the way up to 1 second at max. Slightly better at level 1 as well. So I would say a pretty big buff to AA overall. Even better in the lane with the radius on the Ice Vortex and the slow on the Chilling Touch. But Cold Feet damage per second increased. Oh, by 40. That's actually a lot, because this ticks like, that's what, like 120 bonus damage? It's quite a lot. You do lose Spell Amp though, so it's probably a nerf. It's actually probably just straight up a nerf. Scepter Blink Fragment Mana Cost decreased by 5. Okay. A mana cost. Okay, so they're basically trying to help his mana cost overall. I guess he had mana problems. I haven't played really much AM. Okay, so they clearly identified that he was having mana problems, because they've majorly buffed his mana. Also, the range on Blink is worse at level 1, but better at max by 50. Which I would say is... I don't know. I would say it's probably a buff. It's like having better Blink range later on into the game is really nice. Like, really, really nice. The cooldown's also shorter at level 1, which is also very nice. So I would say it's probably a buff overall. Mana cost decreased. Okay, we read that. And then Mana Void Radius. Could be good some games. I would only take this if like, I would only take Mana Void Radius if like you really have a hero you know you're gonna get a good Mana Void against, like Storm and Sky. Arc Warden, a hero I thought would become potentially very broken this patch. Slow decreased. Okay, so they actually heavily nerfed the slow. So this hero's getting nerfed. I guess it did have a really high win rate, but I thought maybe Valve would glance over it. Seems like they didn't. Slow is now always applied. Really? Oh, so it's okay though. Damage is still applied only if there's... Okay, no, that's just a buff. That has to be a buff. Because even though the slow is quite a bit less, 35% movement speed slow is like more than enough to like keep them in place. You know what I mean? Like going from 50 to 35 isn't that bad, considering you can't get rid of the slow. So you can't stand next to your creeps or your teammates to get rid of it, which makes you way better in the mid game. So honestly, probably a buff. I'm gonna say it's a buff. It's just way better in team fights. All right, Axe, strength gain decreased, agi gain decreased. They made Berserker's Call a better cast point. The slow on Battle Hunger slightly better. Shard max stacks, so they nerfed the shard. What? This just seems like I don't think this hero is like really any better. If any, he lost a lot of strength gain. It kind of feels like a nerf. I mean, it's like buffs here and buffs here, but this is like a nerf for sure. Feels like nerfs to me. This talent sucks. This talent's mediocre. Level 10 talent on Bane, replaced with 20% enfeeble cast range reduction. What? That is gonna be insane. It's already like 40%. You're gonna have 0 cast range. That's a pretty crazy, you could definitely take that actually. And the other one is with Nightmare Damage Heals Bane. This includes attack damage dealt by Bane. Okay, that's probably not that good, but it's funny. This one's very good though. Sticky Napalm now additionally deals 6, 12, 18, 24 damage when applied. Also increases with damage per stack. Oh, that's cool. So it cancels blinks. So you can cancel blinks with sticky Napalm, which is a pretty big deal actually. However, the duration was decreased by a lot. Radius decreased by a lot at max actually. By a ton at max. It's harder to apply it. It's easier to cancel blinks, but it's harder to apply it and to last for less, which is a big deal actually. Like a huge deal. Damage per stack decreased as well by a huge amount, 4 at max, which really matters. And Shard now applies sticky Napalm every second attack, which isn't really any better. It's technically more consistent, but not by a lot, I'm sure. Refreshing this ability refreshes its duration instead of creating the second path. Who knew that was even a thing? Alright, so Batrider Nerfs for sure. Besides canceling Blink, but I would say overall nerf. Wild Axe's cast point is bettered. Slow decrease on boars by only 6% at max, which really isn't too big of a deal. It's slightly worse at the other levels, but not that bad. So I would say not too big of a deal. Call of the Wild Hawk, Shard now allows to put this ability on auto cast. Doing so will make all hawks instantly and automatically cast Dive Bomb on the first viable target in range, regardless of whether hawk is still flying or stationary. Oh, really? Okay. That's actually, it's kind of a buff. So basically, if you want, which is a big deal, if you want, you can just have the hawk dive bomb the first thing it sees, which is good if you're trying to like go up a hill and gank someone. I would say generally you'll leave it off because you'd rather just keep the vision. Also, the shard cooldown reduction increased by 3 seconds. Okay, but it roots instead of stunning, which is a big nerf because stuns are way better than roots. It's still good, but the cast range was reduced. And I mean, the thing is, you're using it mostly for vision. This shard, like the stun was huge. It's a 2-second stun. It's pretty broken, trust me. But it still roots, which is like pretty good for longer. And you get to use it more, which is a huge deal. The attack speed on Inner Beast was nerfed, not by too much. Probably the biggest deal is at level 1, but not too big of a deal. I would say Beastmaster's still good. I don't think they really nerfed the hero nearly enough. They also gave him a 10 Inner Beast attack speed at level 10. He kind of liked taking mana regen, so it's not really that much. Probably a nerf, but either way. Drums of Slom. Okay, so he has a new scepter. Grants new ability, Drums of Slom. Beastmaster starts hitting his drums with ever-increasing speed, so it's like Donkey Kong. Each strike deals 110 damage to enemies in a radius, healing him and units under his control for 25% of damage dealt to heroes and 5% to creeps. Drum hits deal no damage. Alright, this sounds trash. This has gotta be absolute garbage. If I ever see you guys buy this in my pubs, I'm running down mid. Bloodseeker. Blood Rage. Shard enemy max health as damage lifesteal decreased from 2 to 1.8. That's not too bad. Losing a bit of movement speed at max, but slightly better at level 1, so making him... Okay, he's not really a better laner, because it's like the same at level 2, so it's just worse. Blood Mist. The thing that no one buys. No longer damages Bloodseeker through spell immunity. Okay, I'm sure this build is not good. Probably not good. And they nerfed his talents a little bit. Shuriken mini stun duration increased slightly from 1 to 0.2. I mean 0.1 to 0.2. Rework Shard. Shadowwalk has 2 charges and can be cast on allied heroes. Does not break Bounty Hunter invisibility when cast on allies. Fade time for allies is always 1 second. Charge restore time. 15, 14, 13, 12. Well, his old shard was really strong, so I don't know if this is a buff. It's very cool, and it's an extremely interesting concept for picking people off, but I don't think it's better than his old shard. It does make you be able to smoke, like, Invis your whole team, but Invis is not that OP of a mechanic. It's just not. Not against good players, at least. I think this will be relatively OP in, like, Lomamar, to be honest, but yeah, I don't know. Brewmaster, Rework Scepter. Okay, so you can't just get 2 ultis now. Rework Scepter grants new ability, Primal Companion. Creates a primal split Bruling based on Brewmaster's current Drunken Brawler stance. If the Bruling moves further than 1600 range from Brewmaster, it is silenced and slowed by 50%. If the Bruling takes damage from heroes or hero-controlled units, a new one can't be summoned for 3 seconds. If the created Bruling is killed, the ability goes on cooldown for 70 seconds. Only 1 Bruling can exist at a time. All Bruling's abilities have a doubled cooldown when summoned with Primal Companion. The Brewmaster, I can't tell if this is good. I'm not going to try to guess if it is good. I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is that this is a hard nerf to Brewmaster, because the main thing that made this hero broken, or potentially broken, was the fact that you could buy Axe and then Refresher and have 4 splits. Which you can't do anymore, at all. This is definitely a nerf, I would imagine. Unless this is somehow broken, I don't know though. I'm gonna assume it's not. Scepter radius changed from 800 to current cast range of Viscous Nasal Goo. That seems like a huge nerf. What is the cast range of Viscous Nasal Goo? I don't even know what it is. Does it even scale per level? That is so weird. Also, the attack damage per stack was decreased by quite a lot. You're gonna lose 50 damage at max, which is a lot. It really matters. So pretty big nerfs to Bristle. Actually, huge nerfs, considering I'm imagining the cast range of Viscous Nasal Goo is not even close to 800. I would guess it's like 550 or something like that. Not that good. At level 15, he gets a cast range talent, which probably makes it go back to the original, but that means you have to take a talent just to fix it, which is not good. 200 health replaced with 8% and 4% bristleback backside damage reduction. That actually is kind of a lot. Like 8% is a lot, but then you're not taking the Viscous Nasal Goo cast range, which you kind of need if you're buying Ags. So you can't really take that talent. And then they nerfed the level 25 talent, so big nerfs to Bristle. Huge nerfs to Bristle, actually. Do I think the hero's still viable? It's way more situational now. This seems like a huge nerf, because you can't take your level 15 talent. You have to take this one. Brood, slightly better movement speed. Rework Shard, increases the duration on Insatiable Hunger by 2 seconds. And when it's active, its bonus damage is increased by 12 every 1 second. Whoa, isn't that just like 80 or 100 damage? This ability lasts for like 5-6 seconds, right? Now it's like 8? What the? That seems pretty good. It seems really good. All right. A little bit of a Brood buff. Now additionally improves turn rate by 0.2 on the spin wave. Okay, that's pretty good. But the bonus movement speed was decreased. Okay. Mischance increased on Silken Bola by a lot, 55% at max, and you don't have to buy your shard to buff it. That's pretty cool. They changed his talents a lot though. They made the Spiderling health at level 15, which I would say is probably a nerf, because if you're gonna go right click, which I would imagine if you're gonna pick Brood, you're gonna play around the shard buff, because it seems like a huge buff, right? So you're probably gonna play around the shard, which means you want 16 agi at 15. You can take it at 20 now, and it's way more, but I think you'd rather it at 15. So I'm gonna say a nerf, especially considering it's harder to get levels now. Probably a nerf. Silken Bola slow replaced with AoE Silken Bola. All right, that's not that good. Spiderlings, all right. And then base, wow, way less base attack time. While okay, so basically if Brood hits level 25 and has Shard, she can hit really hard. Base armor decreased by 3 on Centaur. All right, what did they do? Base HP regen increased to 4. Okay. Return damage decreased from, okay, so they nerf return at max. Quite a bit at the other levels too. Damage rescaled from on Stampede to be kind of worse. What the heck is this? These changes. Rework Scepter grants new ability. Hitch a ride. Centaur tosses an ally into a cart hitched behind him. While in the cart, the ally can still cast an attack normally, but cannot move independently or be targeted by opponents. Non-targeted effects can still affect the hitched ally. Increases the attack range of hitched melee heroes by 200. I have no idea if this is good or not. I would imagine it's pretty good. It sounds pretty good actually, especially if the enemy doesn't have AoE stuns, like if they're all single target. It seems pretty good. You lost all of your armor though. Literally you have 0 armor. You have a ton of HP regen, so you're gonna have to buy like 2 rings of protection to start the lane. Retaliate is worse. Your Stampede is kind of worse. Just for a cool Ags, which I'm not even sure it's that good, because in order to make it work, you kind of need BKB. So you don't just die when you run in, like a psycho. I have no idea. It seems, I could see this being kind of broken though, I'm not gonna lie. It's 8 seconds where your teammate can't get hit. You could just put a hard carry in like some drow and they just click off, like a Medusa running at max range, just clicking. It could be kind of broken. I can see this, I don't know, I can see this hero being good just because of how potentially broken this Ags is, if you have a good game. All right, slight buffs. Okay, slight buffs to CK, okay. Bonus attack speed on Penitence was nerfed by quite a lot. Not too much, but enough. Rework Scepter grants persuaded units new active ability Martyrdom. Creates creature sacrifices itself to perform a single target Hand of God on any chosen ally. Global cast range. Cooldown 8 seconds. Whoa, global Hand of God, huh? I mean, that's definitely a lot of healing. It's like a ton of healing. I'm pretty sure Hand of God heals for like 800 total at max. That is whack. Seems pretty good though. It's a lot of healing. Like a lot. Like a lot. So that's definitely really strong. Okay, it's cool. I think Chen got a huge buff to mech too. Chen's still gotta be broken. Ugh, God, I don't like when this hero's good. 200 health replaced with 2 Holy Persuasion teleport delay. Whoa, so you can TP your units way faster. You lose your HP though, which is kind of bad. Holy Persuasion bonus damage decreased from 16 to 12. All right, whatever, you could probably just take the other one. 3 Holy Persuasion max units and charges replaced with Hand of God applies a strong dispel at level 25. Okay, you'll probably never get there, but all right. Burning Barrage, number of arrows increased to just 6 flat, which is a double, but the damage per arrow is worse. Okay, but it's way more damage, right? Way more damage at level 1. The thing is, so it's way better at clearing the wave if that's what you want to do. However, you got to channel it for much longer if you want to do that. But it's better at max, so it actually does, it's like comes out quite a bit faster at max. It's 0.4 seconds less. So I would say definitely buffs to Clinks. It makes him, it kind of gives him the option not to max Burning Barrage. Because it's like, it's definitely worse, but not by too much. Not by like, it's definitely an option. It's kind of cool. Mana cost increased, so nerf this mana cost. All right, I would say kind of a cool buff to Clinks. It's gonna allow him to like basically just push out the wave if he wants to. Which I don't think that's that useful in the lane generally though. So I'm kind of suspect. I'm suspect about that change. Overclocking rework Scepter no longer refreshes his abilities on cast and either grants bonus movement speed or attack speed. While overclocking is active, all of Clockwork's abilities are supercharged. Battery Assault damage and stuns all enemies within its radius. Okay? Power Cogs increases Clockwork's attack speed by 250 while Clockwork's inside. That's a ton. That's way more than what it was. I think it was 200, now it's 250. Rocket Flare has its cooldown decreased to 3 seconds and shoots 2 additional flares to either side of the target area. That's a lot of damage, right? How long does it last for? Increases hookshot stun radius and duration by 50%. That's a long stun. When overclocking expires, Clockwork is stunned for 3 seconds instead of 4. It lasts for 13 seconds and it's only a 15-second cooldown. This seems really strong. They're basically trying to incentivize like core clock, because you hook in, the stun lasts for way longer, and you can click them, you can right click them the entire time, and you can then like flare a total of 4 times if you do it right away. And it shoots 2 more flares. That could be, okay, clock as like a right click core could be really strong. And then they gave him a way better level 10 talent, like way better. You might still take Rocket Flare cooldown, but this is like really nice to have Power Cogs cooldown. It's really good. Core clock will be really interesting. I think people will consider it. This seems quite powerful. Like quite powerful. There's a lot of potential here, for sure. Crystal Maiden no longer restores ally hero mana on Crystal Maiden cast. Allies within 1200 radius of CM receive 2 times the mana regen. It's a big deal. Mana regen bonus rescale, where it's worse at max but better at level 1. However, the big thing here, self bonus from 3 to 4 as well, which means at level 1, CM gets 2.4 mana regen, which is a ton. That is a ton. That is so much mana regen. And then teammates get 1.2 if they're near her. And her ulti is 10 seconds longer, so a nerf to the ulti. This is a huge buff to CM. Instead of giving 0.5 to allies in lane, you're giving them 1.2, which is like 70 mana per minute, which is a lot early game. That's a huge buff to CM. Huge buff to CM. Crazy buff to CM, actually. This is actually a freaking massive buff to CM. Because also, like in team fights, you're giving your teammates 3 mana regen instead of 2, which definitely matters. The only thing is Freezing Fields is a longer cooldown, but I think you're okay with that. At level 15, she also got Frostbite cast range, which is like a really strong talent, actually. Okay, very cool. CM will definitely be used for that, because that's a lot of mana regen in the lane, like a lot. Cast range increased from 600 to 800. It's a really big cast range increase, actually. Rework Shard, surge units leave behind a radius trail, lasts for 7 seconds, slows enemies around it by 50%, and deals 35 damage every 0.5 seconds. Nah, that's definitely way worse than normal punch. Oh, it's now granted by Scepter. Did you lose the other Scepter, though? Or is it just also granted by Scepter? Because that's not that good if it's granted by Scepter. Unless it's like way better. Illusion damage equals replica damage of the current level of replica wall. Okay. Max damage increased from 300 to 450, which is not that big of a deal. The spawn delay is much faster and the cooldown is much lower. I mean, it does mean that you can stun a lot because it's like a very low cooldown and the illusion comes out very fast and does quite a bit of damage, but the old Axe was really good on Darkseer. Like very good. And this new shard seems kinda, I mean, it does slow by 50% actually, which is a ton, and it does damage, which means it cancels blinks. It's really good for disengaging. It's actually quite a good shard. It's a 50% slow, and it also, you can use it when you're chasing them, right? You can also use it to chase people for sure. So I don't know if it's a buff. I feel like it's a nerf because normal punch as the shard was like very cheap. You don't want to spend 3 times the gold for normal punch, I think. I don't think it's good enough for that much, even with the buffs. Dark Willow, Bramble Maze spawn delay decreased from 0.5 to 0.3, which is actually a big buff to the ability. Makes it way easier to hit it and much less likely to miss. Mana cost decreased from 80, 100, 120 to 140 to 80, 90, 100 to 110. So pretty huge buffs to Willow. And Bedlam Pierce's spell immunity at level 25 is a very interesting talent for core Willow in the late game. Really good, actually, in certain matchups. So pretty huge buffs to Willow, especially the Bramble Maze spawn delay. Really nice. Doesn't make the hero broken by any means, but it's a very nice change. Base armor decreased by 1 on Starbreaker. When casting Starbreaker with Shard, Dawnbreaker will start moving towards the target area instead of standing still. Still has free movement, okay? So that's about the same, I'd imagine. Cast point improved on the Celestial Hammer, and the cast range was nerfed a lot at level 1, so it's way worse at chasing a level 1. Like, way, way worse at chasing a level 1, so a lot less kill potential at level 1. Still is a strong ability, considering you're maxing it. I don't really think it's too much of a nerf, to be honest. It is a lot of cast range at level 1, but I don't think it's a nerf to make the ability that bad. I think it's fine. Scepter now allows to move the target area with a speed of 200. That's actually a huge buff. They didn't really nerf Dawnbreaker. It seems like the hero is like, I mean, the cast point on your hammer is even better, which like makes it easier to hit, so you can't juke it. I don't know, and like being able to move the scepter with the axe is like really good. I don't think this hero is that bad. I don't think it was really OP. It's just still good though. Especially like 1 base armor, I think the hero had like 5. That's not the end of the world. All right, Shallow Grave, duration decreased by 0.5 at all levels. Okay, it's a pretty big deal. Heal damage decreased by a lot at level 1. Huge nerfs to Dazzle, actually. Huge nerfs to Dazzle. Do I think the hero's still good? This is a big nerf to Shadow Wave, actually. Like a massive nerf. You could do like 60 to 80 less damage if you catch someone in a creep wave, which is like a ton in the early game. It's a big nerf to Dazzle. Also, less time in the Shallow Grave obviously is a huge nerf. Also, level 15 talent, 60 attack speed replaced with, what in the world? What in the world? What in the world? 300 focus fire attack speed. Oh, attack range. Oh my god, I read it. Oh, okay. I read it as attack speed. Oh, okay. Attack range against poison touch enemies, which is actually quite good, especially for like a core Dazzle. It's still good for support Dazzle. It means you can apply poison touch without even getting remotely close. It's actually a really good talent at level 15 for Dazzle as a support and a core. So actually a very good talent. Being able to apply poison touch safely is like really, really nice. So I would say this kind of makes Dazzle more viable. I also think like core Dazzle is an interesting concept that people could consider, especially with this being primarily a nerf to like the early levels. You could try like mid Dazzle. I don't think it's a grief, especially with this like, you are losing your 60 attack speed though. But this like attack range on poison touch enemies is very good. It's very, very good. At some point. I don't think it makes it like broken or anything, but yeah. Death Prophet, Agi increased. Agi gain increased. Base movement speed reduced by 40. What? Base movement speed decreased by 40. Oh, what the? I mean, she gets 2 more Agi. Spirit Siphon doesn't deal max health as damage anymore. It just does a ton of damage. It's just 80 damage. But that's not good. Because it's like, this is kind of a counter to like, I mean, basically, I think this is just straight up a nerf, surely. I can't imagine, like, because the max health was like really a big part of this hero for killing the beefcakes. I mean, it's 80 damage per second, which like seems like a ton, but I don't think it is, because you were doing, at max, just for perspective, you're doing 5.5% of their max health. If a hero has 1,000 health, right, that's, what is that, an extra 55 damage per second? Am I doing that completely wrong? Do I look like a bot? I think that's right. No, that's correct. So you were doing about 80 damage if they had 1,000 HP, which like most heroes have more than 1,000 HP. Yeah, so if they have like 2k HP, you're doing way less damage. Yeah, it's generally less damage. It's a lot, no, it's not even a lot more at level 1. No, it's just, I think it's just worse. And you just get bonus passive movement speed from Exo, but considering you have 40 less base, it just seems like a nerf. Yeah, I don't know. This just seems like a hard DP nerf. I'm not even gonna wanna play the hero. It's just so slow in the laning stage. This hero is just like so bad in lane now. I mean, you get like a bit more agi, but like 40 less movement speed? Bruh, what am I? You're a snail. You're a legit snail until you're level 6. I don't know. This seems like, I don't like this. I feel like they shouldn't have done this, but okay. Disruptor now deals damage upon arrival based on distance between start and end point. Min damage is 50 and max is 300. It's actually a lot of damage. Just straight up damage on Glimpse. You can do up to 550 damage with Glimpse when you're level 15. It's a lot of damage. It's a 300 damage nuke with Glimpse, which is like a huge nuke, actually. It's actually a huge buff. It's just straight up a big buff to Disruptor. Because like the hero would kind of have like a damage problem without its ult, but like it's just straight up 300 damage if they're far away, which like often they are when you're glimpsing them. This is a big buff. I'm a fan of Disruptor. I'm a fan. Doom got a ton of agi. Devour is no longer dispelled on death, which is a massive buff. Reworked Scepter. Wait, what? Is this just some massive Doom buffs? He gets way more agi. Way more agi. Especially in the lane, this is nearly a full point of armor. Half. Slightly more than half. No longer dispelled on death. And Reworked Scepter. Enemies within 325 radius from the target also suffer the effects of Doom. Also allows it to be self-cast to affect enemies around caster. What? I thought Doom was a good hero. Why did they giga buff Doom? Why did they buff it? This Doom is this Axe is definitely way better. Cause like you can just Doom yourself and then just like ravage the enemy by staying near them. And it's really good against heroes because then it doesn't have a cast point, right? Because you can put it on yourself, right? You put it on yourself and then if you blink on someone, they can't like react in time. And it also goes around Lincolns. So it's like a Lincoln's counter. Really interesting Axe. A lot of use cases, particularly as a Lincoln's counter later on into the game. And then like it's an AoE, right? Oh, this one's cool. Big buffs to Doom. They changed his talents though. Devour grants magic resist, but you don't lose it, so that's probably fine. 8-second Scorched Earth cooldown to movement speed, that's a nerf at 15. Not by a lot though. 35-second Doom cooldown, less. Whoa, that's a lot. Or you can take Scorched Earth cooldown, both being good. Probably taking the Doom cooldown, I'd imagine though. Cleave replaced with Doom applies break. That's obviously good later on into the game. It's very late into the game though, so you're not going to pick it as like a bristle counter necessarily. All right, next up we got Dragonite. The mana cost was decreased on Breathe Fire from 90, 100, 110, 120 to just being way better at max. Not better at level 1, but way better at max. And the attack damage reduction increased by 5%, which is really nice. You can make your Breathe Fire do like, what is it, 60% less damage with the level 10 talent? Really crazy stuff. Bonus movement speed increased at levels? Okay, so pretty nice Dragonite buffs. Wouldn't say it makes the hero broken by any means, but it's good. It's definitely solid. Especially 5% less damage reduction in the laning stage is really big, right? Because you're gonna make people have like 2 or 3 less damage, and it's gonna be much harder to last hit just by queuing people. Drow Ranger. Arrow damage increased by 15% at level 1. It's actually a big buff. It's not better at max, but it's like way better in the lane. Quite a huge buff for Drow in the laning stage. Also at level 10, she has 15% Gust Cell Movement Speed talent, which is actually really nice. That's in comparison to Frost Arrow bonus damage, but 15% movement speed is actually freaking massive. On a hero like Drow that needs to kite in and out, people definitely might take this at level 10. It's a pretty big buff, I would say. Level 15 talent, Gust Width replaced with Gust reveals invis units. Doesn't reveal wards though. Okay, well, situationally good. You're probably going to take the multi-shot cooldown though, so you'll probably, you never take that. Multi-shot cooldown at 10 is just too good. But they also, the bonus multi-shot damage was decreased. Why would they do that? I don't really like that. I feel like you don't need to nerf the hero, just like give her a buff. I don't get why they do this. Just make the hero like quite a bit stronger. It just, no one picks it, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like at least not around my bracket. Earth Spirit, Boulder Smash, now has the same targeting rules for units as for remnants. When cast, selects the nearest entity that's a smash, prioritizing remnant within range, then the closest unit. I don't get that. It doesn't matter. Fisher, cooldown decreased. Well, okay, so Shaker, a hero that, so I guess they didn't really care about the recent major because this hero was quite popular and now they just straight up buffed Fisher by, this might not seem like a big deal, but I assure you, this is freaking massive. 3 seconds less on Fisher at level 1 makes this hero way better because it can get the wave back much further if needed. It can secure creeps much more consistently. It can pressure much more consistently. This is a massive buff to Shaker. Considering the hero like was getting picked all of a sudden, this is just straight up a huge buff to Shaker. All right, well, I guess the hero is going to be popular at least in the pro scene. I can say that for sure. Base agi increased on Elder Titan by 2, which is good considering the hero wants to right click and run in. Bit of a buff to Echo Stomp, nothing big. Okay, and talents don't really matter here. Agi gain increased from 2.9 to 3.2. It's decent. Movement speed slightly nerfed by 5, but 5 movement speed is still a lot. Base HP region increased by 0.5, which is 30 HP per minute. It's something. Not huge, but it's something. Turn rate improved from 0.6 to 0.8. Huh. It's good for casting remnants. this turn rate change. It's quite nice. Mana cost decreased on Flame Guard by 15 at level 1. Wow, very cheap. Very cheap at level 1 on Flame Guard. Really, really nice value point if you just want to take it as a value point. And just straight up better in the lane altogether. Mana cost decreased on Activate Fire Remnant, but they gave it a cooldown. Oh, I was like, this is just straight up a lot of buffs to this hero, right? But they gave Fire Remnant a cooldown, a 0.5 second cooldown, which is like absolutely a massive nerf. You might not understand why, but like if you have Ags, for instance, even if you don't have Ags, you would want to use this ability so people couldn't cast certain abilities on you. Like abilities with cast times, you could prevent them from ever casting them on you. Like Doom, for instance, because you could remnant with Axe, you could just like kite him, right? And a lot of heroes were like this, like Ogre Magi couldn't stun you, but now he can stun you. This is a huge nerf in certain matchups. Like this hero is just way worse against certain heroes, like way worse, like way worse. So I don't know. I'm sure Ember spammers are gonna be pretty upset about that. This is like, I don't know. I feel like this is stupid. I really think this is just a bad change. It like makes the hero less fun. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that change. Duration decreased from 12 to 9, 10, 11, 12. That's just a, oh no, it's a nerf. It's duration. I thought it was cooldown. Okay. Huge nerf to Nature's at 10 at level 1. I think that's fair. The ability is insane at level 1. Rework Shard now grants a new ability, Little Friends. All creeps, enemy, ally, and neutral within 1200 range of target will attack the target with bonus attack speed. Wait, what? All creeps, enemy, ally, and neutral within 1200 range of the target will attack the target with a bonus 100 attack speed and 100% movement speed for 6 seconds. What? Cannot target buildings. Cannot. Target is not attacked by either heroes nor illusions. What? Okay. All creeps, enemy, ally, and neutral. So like this is just a hard, it's just like a, so it like taunts the creeps, I guess? It's like a hard counter to like Beastmaster, because you can just send his creeps at him. What the hell? This is like the hardest Beastmaster and Lightning counter in the game. For 6 seconds, you can just make them not hit. It's a 6-second disarm against those heroes. That's crazy. Ench is definitely gonna get picked as a counter to those heroes just to buy this damn shard. That's wild. Dude, Lycan creeps are actually just gonna shred him. I guess Helmdom creep is magic immune. It's actually 1200 range as well, so it's gonna aggro the neutral camps too. It's actually an insane shard. It's actually an insane shard. And it's 100%, but this shard is freaking insane, actually. It's situationally too, it's broke crazy. I think people are absolutely gonna pick this hero and buy a bunch of fluffy hats to save gold for the shard as a support. That's crazy. You can use it at the farm too. Rework Shard increases Malefic's stun duration by 0.35 seconds, and at every tick on an enemy, hero creates an Eidolon which cannot split, but still get a refresh duration after a set amount of attacks. Okay. Why didn't they say the amount? It's kind of weird. I would imagine it's the regular amount, but it increases Malefic's stun duration, which means they probably got rid of that at 10. They did. Black Hole Rework Scepter deals additional damage equivalent to their max health and pulls all enemies in a 1200 AoE with, okay, so basically they gave the shard to the Ags and made the Ags do more damage, but you lose the Midnight Pulse damage, so it's not really too much better. Units being pulled in the additional scepter radius can still move. Okay, so they gave the shard to the Ags and then nerfed the Ags damage a little bit, and then they gave it where your shard makes the stun longer, which is like pretty important because it's an extra full second of stun, and it creates this Eidolon, which is like, it's something. You know what I mean? It's something. It's like a decent amount of damage. Eidolons don't hit they really don't hit that hard though, so I don't know. And you lose the level 10 talent stun, which is like nice, because it was just made the stun a lot longer without having to take the talent. But also, you can take the Eidolon attack speed at 10 now, or you can take black hole damage per second, which is 200 extra damage. Early game, that's a lot, but I think you're probably gonna, if you're gonna play this hero, you're probably gonna take Eidolon attack speed, and then buy the shard at some point. It's kind of bad though, because it forces you to buy the shard if you want this. It's a nerf, I would say. Yeah, I would say this is a nerf. Time Walk range increase from 650, they just buff Void? Why did they buff Void? Why did they buff Void? Why did they buff Void? Without Shard, why is the range on Time Walk just way better? And even with Shard, it's literally still better because it's 150 more flat at max. Why is this hero just better? Did they think this hero is trash? I don't understand. Why did they do this? Why is Void just a way better hero? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. I actually don't understand. Slow duration increase from 1.5 to 1.75. Decent. Cooldown, quite a bit better at level 1. Hero's still trash. Rocket Barrage. Damage is worse at level 1, but better at max, not by a lot. Mana cost is better at level 1 though. Okay. Alright, that's cool. It's a cool change. It makes the shard better by a decent amount. Not by too much, but a decent amount. Okay, they're just trying to make this hero like a nuker or something. They're trying to make Gyro a support. I don't think this is good enough to make him a support though. Acorn Shot, initial projectile speed increased by 100. Not really a big deal. Bushwhack, projectile speed. That's actually a big deal. It makes it easier to hit it. It's quite nice. Now granted by Shard is the Hunter's Boomerang. Damage decreased from 350 to 200. Spell Amp decreased from 25% to 20% and no longer reduces status resist. It's still a good shard though. It's actually really strong because it's just like 200 damage. And then it's also just 20% spell amp on the shard, which is actually a lot. It doesn't reduce status resist, but you're absolutely going to buy this. Like you just buy Shard Veil on the Hoodwink and you actually amp target's damage by like 30%. Considering it's diminishingly, it's like 30%, which is insane for only 3k gold. And you're getting like a Veil, right? Before. So it's like, I can see like Veil Hoodwink being popular. You don't even have to buy the Veil. You can just buy Shard. I'm not even, yeah, you could just still go like Aether Shard. It's just really good. I think this is a buff. Old Hoodwink Shard was pretty broken though, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know if this is... I honestly think Old Hoodwink Shard was one of the best shards in the game. Honestly thought this hero would be literally viable just based on the shard. Now granted by Scepter, Decoy. When cast turns Hoodwink invisible, increases her movement speed by 15%, creates a decoy of her that starts charging up Sharpshooter, aiming at the nearest visible enemy at 300 range. If attacked or targeted by a spell, the decoy is destroyed and a lesser Bushwhack is cast. If the decoy was not attacked, it shoots the sharpshooter in the direction it was aiming, dealing 60% of its regular damage, which is actually a lot. I don't know if this is good though. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's just expensive, so probably not that good. Huskar, base armor increased by 1, fixed Aghanim Shard mistakenly granting 65 damage. Okay, who knew that was a thing? Max strength as HP regen increased by a lot at level 1. It's the same at max, but way better at level 1. Way better at level 1. Scepter cast range decreased though. I'm gonna say that this hero is about the same. It's much tankier in the lane though, which is pretty important because that was a big weakness of the hero. Deafening Blast damage increased by a good amount at level 1, so it's way better at level 1. 40 extra damage, quite nice. Ghost Walk is slightly better, I would say. Ghost Walk is slightly better. Sunstrike does more damage at level 1 as well, which is actually nice. Helps you secure the range creep earlier. Helps secure kills with level 1 Sunstrike. It's good. Level 10 talent, 6-second tornado cooldown. Wow, that's a pretty big change. Because that's a really nice talent. The problem is you always want to take your orbs and not talents on Invoker. It's kind of rough. Or you can take EMP Mana Burn, which is, it's actually a good amount considering Mana Burn is a very strong mechanic in certain games. And technically it prevents BKBing now. It's pretty strong. And at level 20, you can get 80% Chaos Meteor damage, which like later on into the game is quite nice. It's like a lot, especially when you have your shard. Io, Tether Heal is nerfed at level 1. The spirits are better though. The attack speed is better at level 1 by 10, which is a lot, and better at level 2 by 5. But you heal a lot less. You still heal the same at max and about the same at level 2. I don't know, this seems... I'm gonna say the hero's probably about the same. I'll be honest. People are still gonna pick Io for sure. Considering it gets a 10 more attack speed now at level 1, which is a lot. It's definitely a lot. Also can get tether enemy slow, which is pretty nice. Jakiro's strength gain decreased from 2.8 to 2.5. Path now stays on the ground for 2.6, 2.9, 3.2, 3.5 seconds. Max stun duration is still, okay, the same. The cooldown was decreased at level 1 as well. So it stays on the ground. I don't understand. So it stays on the ground for less time or more time? This is confusing because it used to stay on the ground in the past anyway. It just wouldn't stun for as long. Is that the same? I don't know why they don't specify. This is very confusing to me. It's better at level 1 now, which is pretty nice though, by quite a lot. Max health per damage decreased on the shard. Okay. And they nerfed his level 10 talent. Base movement speed on Jug decreased by 5. Shard bonus movement speed decreased by 25. Heal radius on Healing Word decreased by 100. Wow, that's a huge nerf because now in the lane you have to put it way closer to yourself to heal, which means it's easier to kill. Plus 2 Healing Word hits to kill. I don't think you're gonna take that. Actually, maybe you would take that in some games. Probably not though. Just some Jug nerfs. Considering he's the highest win rate hero of the patch, it's pretty reasonable. Cooldown on Call ulti increased by 20. Oh, damn! How do they, what the, by 20? Call is getting slaughtered. I don't even know. I guess the hero is still playable, but it really relies on its ulti to be functional. I don't know. I feel like this makes the hero pretty bad. 20 seconds is so freaking long. Because it's like a tempo hero, right? It's not like it occasionally needs it. It like constantly needs it, right? So, I don't know. I mean, you have this really cool 2-second Illuminate cooldown at 10, which is like definitely a good talent. It's definitely actually a very strong talent. I mean, you heal for a ton now. Like you get extra healing and you have like more Illuminates. I don't know. I guess the hero is still pretty good because like this Illuminate cooldown is really, really strong. considering you're chalkering it, you're getting 2 ultis like in very quick succession, which is really powerful early games. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say the hero is still viable just based on this, because this is a big deal early game. It guarantees that you can blast someone very quickly twice, which is like, you need 2 blasts to kill someone early game, so it's a big deal. It's like a huge deal, actually. I'll say Coddle's still viable just based on that. Damage increased from 75, okay, so they slightly buffed Torrent. Movement speed, slow increased to 40% flat. So they made Torrent way better. Way better. They also gave 25% X marks the spot movement speed at level 10. I don't know if you would skill that at level 10, but it's, oh, you're not gonna take that over damage. Oh, no, okay, they got rid of the damage. Tidebringer applies a 60% slow for 1 second. Ooh, oh my, what? Okay, Kunkka sucks. Kunkka's horrible. He lost his damage talent, and he has no small camp. This hero is just bad. Even though Torrent's way better, it's like a support now. They're literally trying to make this hero a support or something, I don't know. Which I don't think it can be a support. Legion Commander, Shard bonus armor per creep increased from 0.5 to 1, and per hero from 5. I think the Shard is quite good, so it's interesting. Cast range increased on Duel from 150 to 200, it's a big deal, to 250 to 300. So Duel is way easier to cast. I'm assuming they got rid of the level 10 talent. They did, but you get bonus duel damage, which is really nice. So I would say that's a buff. It's not too much, but it's a buff. So it's a big buff to Legion, I'd say, because just having like more cast range early game when you only have phase boots is gonna make duel just a much better ability. 50 cast range is a lot. It really is a lot. It's gonna be the difference in a lot of situations. So I would say a Legion buff for sure. Considering you can take the overwhelming odds talent at level 10, I think that's what it is, and then you can buy your shard. So I'm gonna say a huge buff to Legion actually, really nice. Base damage increased by 2 on Lash, okay, makes the hero better laner. Mana per second cost now starts ticking after 1 second instead of upon casting. Activation mana cost still applies. So I believe this makes it easier to tick Pulse Nova. What I mean by that is you could basically turn this ability on and off to make it do more damage. A lot of people don't know that. It would do more damage if you turned it on and off, and the mana cost per second is increased. So essentially what this means to me, unless I'm misreading it, is it's incentivizing this really niche Leshrac mechanic where by turning it on and off, you can pulse it twice in a row instead of waiting for pulse. You could pulse by turning it on and off, and it's easier to do it without messing it up. Very weird, but the mana cost is just more at level 1, which is like quite a nerf. So very odd change. I think that's what it implies. I'm not sure though. Sinister Gaze is better at max, but worse at level 1, not by a lot. The mana cost is better though. The mana drain was rescaled 10% per second, which is a nerf. That's weird. Ice Spire now requires hero hits or 10 creep hits to be destroyed, and casting Frost Shield on Ice Spire will heal it by 1 hero hit per tick. That is okay. Lich is probably still mediocre. Fine in pubs. Lich is fine in pubs. Like your average pub, fine. Decent hero. The ulti's really good early game. But alright. Lifestealer, bonus attack speed increased from 20 to 25. 20 more at max. You lose your 30 attack speed at level 10. But that's definitely a buff, considering you're maxing this before level 10. So it's more consistent damage throughout the lane, right? More damage throughout the lane, and you can decide to take your other level 10 talents. You're probably going to take the ranged movement speed increase. You're not going to take infest damage, that's pretty trash. You're going to take ranged movement speed at level 10 now, but that's nice, right? You're technically losing 10 attack speed at max, but you're absolutely willing to trade that for 12% ranged movement speed, which is a ton of movement speed. So big Lifestealer buff, big Lifestealer buff, I'd say. And then they slightly buffed his other talents as well, which is good. All right, Lifestealer, better hero. Definitely a better hero. Alina, Flame Cloak, reworked Scepter, grants new ability Flame Cloak. Alina gets flying movement, increases her spell damage by 30% and magic resistance by 35%, and the cooldown is 25 seconds. Cannot be dispelled. I kind of wish they told us how long it lasts for. That would be nice. But to determine whether or not it's good, but I guess I'll just look it up later. All right, so basically they made this hero have the option to buy an Axe late game. I don't think you're gonna buy this though. It is interesting, but I don't think this is a viable build. It's funny and it's cool, but I don't think it's viable in the slightest. Lion, turn rate improved. Okay, cool. Damage, he lost his damage talent with Earth Spike damage, which you're not gonna take. Mana drain, okay, you're not gonna, both of these are mediocre. Earth Spike cooldown at level 15, which is a good talent, replaced with Mana drain targets allies, which is very underwhelming as a talent. You'd rather Earth Spike cooldown for sure, I can assure you of that. Mana drain targets allies replaced a 2-second hex cooldown. I mean, that's good, but it's at level 20 and you're not getting that on Lion. So it's just, Mana drain deals damage equal to 150% of mana stolen. Why are they trying to make this hero some sort of core when they got rid of the damage talent? This is so bad. These are such bad, I'm sorry, but these changes are just so weird and bad. They're just so pointless, and the turn rate's cool, but like, how do they even decide that? Like, it's cool. That's the only cool change of Lion. These talent changes are so bizarre. Like this level 25 talent, I mean, you're gonna buy the shard, and it's like interesting, but like you're gonna buy the shard, and it's definitely interesting, but you're not getting to level 25 on Lion. Like you're just not. It's just, I don't know. It's just so weird. Savage Roar duration reduced by quite a lot of level 1, but it's still the same in max, so Lone Druid's fine. Lone Druid's definitely fine. Luna, Lucent Beam rework shard. Every time an enemy hero is hit by Lucent Beam, Luna's attack damage is increased by 50. Oh, okay, that's her shard. I thought that was the flat ability. I'm like, what? I mean, basically she can give herself, considering you can take the Lucent Beam talent and then like constantly Lucent Beam. Oh, but they nerfed it, so it's not nearly as good. All right, this is pretty trash. It's like 15 damage and you can get like 2 stacks or 3 stacks. You can get up to like 45 damage, but you have to hit a hero with it. That's garbage. Now it receives global radius at nighttime. That's cool. It's actually very cool. But it's actually really strong in certain combos, but they nerfed it. So it's way worse at max. So they kind of nerfed Luna. It's like really good with Visage. It's like a very niche combo, but Visage birds get Lunar Blessing. So at night, your Visage just straight up hits for 28 harder, which is like really powerful because it's really good with Visage actually, because he's just getting 28 more damage flat. And so essentially Visage has level 2 birds, and he's gonna have the birds around when it hits night, like the first nighttime. So you have a really strong combo. I think literally Luna Visage will get picked unironically just for this, funny enough. I think that's like the only major thing about this. I mean, it gives the damage just straight up, but I would say if there's any hero that uses this well, it's Meepo and Visage. Target Lucent Beam cooldown reduction decreased from 3 to 2, so they nerfed that, but you're not really gonna take that. And level 20 talent Global Lunar Blessing changed from 200 night vision, replaced with 2 moon glaives fired on a Lucent Beam. Does not fire glaives on beam from eclipse. Okay, that's actually really strong. So at level 20, your shard fires Lucent Beams, and it's 2 of them, which was like, back in the day, Luna's shard did that. Then the current shard, or the previous to the current shard, was 1 glaive, and it was really broken. Like Luna was really strong when you're shard, and Luna's a hero that can reliably get to level 20, like with no problem, because she farms so fast. So very strong level 20 talent on Luna. Very, very strong. Yeah, I could see some Luna comps being good, like with this night thing. I could see some like Luna Visage being very popular, because you have this very strong level 20 spike now as well. It's like a really strong spike. Like trust me guys, this is like pretty OP when you hit level 20. So I'm gonna say Luna is gonna be popular. I'm gonna say she's gonna be popular. Even though they made her lose 7 damage, it's only 7 damage. And it's better at level 1, technically, which is like something, and it's barely worse at level 2. And then like, you're not losing that much from these levels. It is quite a bit, but it's not too much, so. And it's global, right, at night, which is like a big deal. It's like, it's definitely a big, quite a big deal. All right, Lycan, base moon speed decreased from 315 to 305. That's unfortunate. Magic resistance on wolves decreased by 30%. At level 1, damn. Cripple now stacks with each proc. Really? That's interesting. So you can just make people have 0 attack speed. The hero's way worse in lane though, because the wolves just straight up die to nukes now. Not straight up, but they die to nukes, and he's slower. But, Cripple now stacks with each proc, and Howl is global when cast during the nighttime. What? What does that even mean it's global when cast during the nighttime? Because it works on creeps. Does that mean it howls every creep wave and every creep camp and every... Did they mistake this? Did they mess this up? Because that literally means when you click howl during the night, you push every creep wave. It's like NPO, except you don't get the gold. There's no way they didn't mess this up. What? This is just straight up broken. All right, I thought this would make the hero not good enough, but Cripple now stacks with each proc, which means like you do so much attack speed reduction. And Howl's just global during the night, which is insanely strong. Like insanely strong. Because Howl's a very good ability. Like a very good ability. And you could just be top and a fight could happen mid. You just click Howl. The enemy just loses what, 30% of their damage? 35%? 7 armor or something like that? And it shoves every creep wave? What? Like what? I don't know. This hero might be broken. Even though it got nerfed quite hard in this regard. And this is like crazy. If it works like I think it does. Base mana regen increased on Magnus. Cooldown on RP is lower. So this hero is just straight up. Okay, it's just kind of like overall better. It's just overall better. Mercy now slows for 20, 30, 40, 50% instead of stunning. Oh, so it just doesn't stun? What? Oh, okay, rebound stuns. Now stuns enemies in final area for 0.9, 1.3, 1.7, 2.1. Ally movement speed decreased by, okay, 20% at level 1, which is huge. Landing damage decreased by level 1, so it's way worse at level 1, but it stuns at level 1. Landing effect radius is way less, like way less. Ooh. It's an AoE stun on rebound. I don't know, man. I mean, basically what this means to me is you have to buy Aether Lens instead of Blink, because like you're not just gonna Blink Dispose, slow someone, and then just die to them. You're not gonna want to do that. It's so bad. You're gonna have to Aether Lens rebound on them. So if you're gonna want to play Marcy, you're gonna have to buy Aether to try to stun with the rebound, because like you can't like blink rebound, right? That's not gonna work. So you have to go Aether now, which is like not terrible because it has a good build-up, but it's just like, yeah, it's just bad. This is such a big nerf. Pulse also no longer slows enemies. Each strike now slows movement speed by a good amount, but not too much. Each strike now slows base attack speed of the target. Whoa, okay, so heroes really can't man up. It also doesn't Dispel Marcy. Scepter now applies a Dispel on Marcy. That's not that good. And okay, I don't know. I think this hero is just bad, to be honest. I think Marcy's pretty unplayable. I'll keep it real. I think the only way you can play Marcy is as a core. I think this hero as a support is like trash. I think as a core, it's okay. As a support, I think it's garbage. Mars! Spear of Mars. Mana cost decreased from 110. Okay, so they made Spear of Mars slightly easier to cast. Slow duration on God's Rebuke a little bit better. Active Redirect no longer uses a radius centered around Mars. Now only works if projectile targets are in a cone behind Mars or within 100 range of him. Okay, so it's just kind of worse, right? Spear damage rescaled, so it's worse. Why would they make this ability worse at level 1? This hero's trash. Don't pick Mars. Don't pick Mars. Don't pick. Just, I don't know. Mars is just. Why do they nerf him at level 1? They made his laning quite a bit better, to be fair, with these numbers. So, like, it's pretty reasonable, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of Mars. I think Mars is, like, generally a bad hero. Stone Gaze, physical attack amplification, slightly buffed. Oh, it's worse at max, but it's better at level 1, which is definitely a nerf, because you're not really using it for that reason early game, so. Probably a nerf overall. She lost 20 attack speed at level 15, replaced with Mystic Stake, turn, and movement speed slow. That is not even close to as good as attack speed. And then they nerfed the 15 talent. So Dusa was really not that good of a hero in my opinion. I thought it was fine, but I didn't think it deserved this hard of a nerf. This is like a huge nerf. Like a huge freaking nerf. This hero is just way worse, I think. Like way worse. Because it needed these talents, in my opinion. I think it really, I don't know. Strength gain on Meepo is way better. Net is much better at level 1, but it's way worse at max. The thing is, it's nice. I think that's kind of a good thing though, because you would want to leave this as a value point. So it's a way better value point now. Health steal on the creeps is worse though on the E. Dig now has no channeling time and applies instantly. Cooldown decreased, health restore decreased though. Meepo Dig, okay, Meepo honestly might be broken. I'm not just saying that. The reason why is like this dig ability, I think it's your axe. I'm pretty sure it's the axe, and basically what it does is it puts you in the ground. It's like Visage Bird Drop where you can't touch them at all, right? So it puts you in the ground, so you can't be targeted. So you can go in with Meepo, and then if they go on one of the Meepos, it's an instant cast. So if they try to kill one of your Meepos, which is how you kill Meepo, you don't kill all the Meepos, you kill one Meepo. When it's getting low, you just drop it into the ground, and it heals for 40% of its health. I honestly think Meepo might be broken. I think Meepo might be broken, and I'm very nervous. I don't like when this hero's good. Level 25 talent replaced with Pack Rat can equip any item in the neutral slot. That's actually crazy. You know, funny enough, if any hero is getting level 25 and gonna be able to make use of this, it's Meepo. You can have Hex. Ah, that's so funny. That's actually, I don't think it's that good though, right? I mean, can you put it on all of the Meepos though? So can you have like 11 items or whatever? Or like 8 or whatever it is? 9, 10? Is that how that works? Like, can you have like different neutral items on different Meepos? Because then it's good, but if it just replaces neutral items, then it's not that good. Marana, agi gain from 3.4 to 3.1. Secondary target search radius increased on, oh, by a lot. That's actually this is a big buff. This is a huge buff, actually. Speed bonus duration increased from 2.5 to 4. That's a huge buff. Is that the shard? No, that's not the shard. So you just get way more movement speed. It's a big buff. And they made the shard quite a bit better, but don't buy that. Balance Strike Rework Shard can be put on autocast to quickly leap to the opposing end of the staff as it hits the ground. It helps you get on top of people, which is actually extremely useful. I don't know how quick the leap is, but if it's very fast, it will help you get on top of targets and kill them. The only problem is you could just stun them from the trees and hop down that way. So I can't imagine it's really that good. This seems like generally bad. I would imagine it's okay in some situations when you have like Abyssal Blade. It will help you kill people faster. So it's like good late game on Monkey King, but in general, it's like kind of bizarre. Morphling, a lot of changes for Morphling. Attribute Shift Agility Gain. Rework Shard. Now causes attribute shift to work while stunned and increases bonus agility by 6. 1,400 gold you get that, huh? Okay, that is definitely kind of OP. In some games, it's extremely OP. Stat shift per second rescaled from 3, 6, 12, 24 to 5, 10, 15, 20. So it's worse at max, but way better at level 1. And the mana cost per second is way worse at max, but way better at level 1. So honestly, this hero's laning is kind of nuts, because like, it's just so much better at level 1. Like, it can shift so fast at level 1. Like, to shift down and heal and shift back up again, it can do that so much faster. Like, so much faster. It's also better at level 2 as well. It's just worse at max. I don't know, Morphling might be kind of nutty. It's the mana cost per second, though, being doubled at max is a problem, I will say. Maybe you leave it at level 2, because it's 10 shift at level 2, which is like a lot, right? You could like leave attribute shift at level 2 early game. I could see people maxing Waveform and leaving shift at 2 and it not being that bad. I'm not sure. I'm not like a hard Morphling player, but that kind of like makes sense in my head. Rework Shard now causes attribute shift to work while stunned and increases bonus strength. Okay. And then they did the same thing with the strength. Scepter stolen status resist is better. Stolen attack speed is way better. Stolen amp is better. So they buffed Morphex. Morph might be kind of nutty. I'm not going to lie. Morph might be kind of, I don't want to say he's broken, but I think this hero might be like pretty close to like too strong. I think the Ag situationally is actually insane. If you don't know what it does, it steals their stats and then also steals status resist if they're strength, attack speed if they're agi, and spell amp if they're int. It's like so broken in certain matchups actually. I think Morphling might be one of the best carries of the patch. It's pretty concerning actually. This shard is actually insane as well. Just like in some games, if they have only stuns to kill you, you could just shift now, which is like freaking massive. And it also just gives you 6 agi, which is like a good amount of agi for 1,400 gold. Because like what is a, it's like, how much agi is a Blade of Alacrity, right? Also, they nerfed this level 20 talent, but you'll probably just take the other one. And they gave him a 35 strength talent level 25, which is kind of insane. It's actually insane. Because you don't need to take, you're probably still going to take, I was going to say you're probably still going to take attribute waveform charges at 25. That's the other one. But 35 strength is actually insane. So much strength. Cooldown decreased on Naganet. It's just straight up better at all levels. Scepter no longer decreases in snare cooldown, but still allows it to target spell immune and sleeping units. Okay. That's pretty good though, because it just means when Naga doesn't have X, her net is a much lower cooldown. Like 2 seconds in mid to late game is a lot. Scepter now increases projectile speed by 50. That's pretty good. Shard no longer slows enemies hit. I had no idea that was a thing. Reworked Scepter grants new ability, Reel In. Naga Siren channels up to 5 seconds, pulling all units affected by Ensnare at a 400 range towards her at a speed of 150. So it doesn't make it AoE? It must make it AoE. Because like why you're only gonna pull in one unit. Or you can just pull people out of position. This is so bizarre. I'm gonna have to test this one in game. It's so weird. Also, 2 second Ensnare cooldown at level 10, which means Ensnare is going to be a 10-second cooldown if you want to go that route, which is pretty insane. Level 20, you're probably going to keep taking Riptide hits, but 500 Song of the Siren radius is freaking huge. That is a massive radius. Okay, what? No! Oh my god, they got rid of Nature's Prophet Shard. Why would they do that? What did they give it? Rework Shard. No. Grants new ability, Curse of the Old Growth. Applies a curse on all non-invisible enemy heroes within 1200 range, revealing them in Fog of War, slowing them, and causing damage over time based on how many trees there are within a 250 radius. Treants count as trees for this purpose. Each tree reduces movement speed by 7% and deals 15 damage per second. Duration is 6 seconds. The cooldown is 20 seconds. Mana cost 80. Cast range 800. What is the range of the trees? It's in the 250 radius. That's pretty big. You're generally going to be around quite a lot of trees. And around treants, so let's say you surround them in 10 treants, it's going to do 150 damage for 6 seconds. Okay, this could actually be strong. This could be strong. It's a 20-second cooldown. If it worked on creep waves, this would be straight up just good. Because you could nuke out creep waves with it. I mean, this could be good. It gets rid of the old shard, which like is kind of sad because it was like a big part in split pushing, and this basically just makes you a better fighter, but it also gets rid of your ability to trap people in Sprout with your shard, which was like pretty OP. There's a use case for this. It synergizes really well with the level 15 talent, basically, is the main thing that this does. So at level 15, you can like solo kill supports. You'll see what I'm saying when I play this here on stream. Yeah, you'll see what I'm saying. Because you can reduce movement speed by 70%. So it's, yeah, this is situationally very good. It's not that bad. because it can do 750 damage too. All right, there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Reaper Scythe cooldown decreased from 120 to 110. So big buff in that regard, but the mana cost was nerfed. I would say that's probably a buff though. This hero can have mana problems at level 1, so like there is that, but having a lower cooldown on Scythe is probably just a buff. At level 10, 8 Strength, which was a good talent, replaced with 2-second Heartstopper Aura stack duration. That's pretty good. Having the stack duration is quite nice, but not being able to get bursted with Strength was probably better. It's a lot more mana regen though, so it helps you with farming if you want to go that route. And then Ghost Shroud Self-Restoration Amplification. It's at level 20. It doesn't seem that good. Void Scepter stun duration increased. I didn't even know the Scepter's stunned. It stuns? And then they made Crippling Fear worse at max, but slightly better at level 1. So this makes the hero better early game because you don't really max Crippling Fear, but it makes it worse at max. So I'd say probably not really a nerf, but not really a buff. Hunter in the Night status resistance. You have an option to take Hunter in the Night status resistance. I think the other talent is damage. Status resistance is pretty strong, 15%. It's not bad. Cast range on Impale increased by 50, which is actually quite good. Cooldown decreased by 10 seconds on Vendetta. That is massive. I think Nyx might become... These are huge buffs. 10 seconds less? That is freaking huge, because this hero is all about tempo. It's about how much tempo it can keep up. And a 10-second change on Vendetta is nutty. Also, level 15, Spike Carapace Reflect duration. Oh, it's duration. Okay, that's not... It's good, but it's not that good. Base HP regen... What? What the hell is this? What is this? So Ogre Magi has no regen, which means he loses 180 HP per minute, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong. And he loses in armor, but he hits for 20 damage higher. What the frick is this? What 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 is this? This hero hits for what? 80 now? That is hilarious, man. You know what's gonna be the combo? Io Ogre Magi. I'm giving up the strats right now. That's what people are gonna run in lane. Because they also buffed Io's attack speed to level 1. Now deals its first tick of damage, 0.1 seconds after amplification. 1 tick total. Less total. Okay, so Ignite does slightly less damage and is worse at canceling blanks. Heavenly Grace now dispels both Omni-Knight and his target when cast. Did it not originally do that? Huh, I thought it did do that. I guess it didn't. Mana cost decreased on your hammer, so it's better in lane. Definitely better in lane. Better at max too. And the duration on your ulti was nerfed. Oh, okay. So Omni-Knight is like quite good in... He's like good very situationally in lane against like Dazzle. But Dazzle got nerfed, so I don't know. He's like situationally good in lane, but kind of not really. Probably not that great of a hero. Mana cost decreased on Purifying Flames. Your ulti is actually 10 seconds less at max. This is garbage. OD, Swashbuckle. Mana cost reduced at, whoa, way less mana at max. However, Shield Crash duration was reduced by 6 seconds at max. Oh, however, the incoming damage reduction was increased to 20% flat. So this does make the hero better at level 1 by a decent amount, and technically better at max, but I'm sure you'd rather have 11 seconds of Shield Crash duration. To be honest, that seems like a general nerf. However, the mana cost on Swashbuckle is 20 less at max, which is good considering this hero can have mana problems, so it's pretty nice. Can mean that you don't have to buy mana boots necessarily in some situations, so that's good. Because you can use this ability like 5 times in a minute, which is like 100 mana per minute. It's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Proc chance decreased. Now it can also proc on any instance of damage dealt by Pangalier's abilities. So it works on Rolling Thunder and Shield Crash, potentially. I mean, that's actually kind of good, because like you can Rolling Thunder and disarm people. So that's interesting. 3 Lucky Shot armor reduction at level 10. That is a lot. That you definitely can take that. 3 armor reduction at level 10 is a ton. Now grants Lifesteal for the duration of Phantom Strike. Huh. 10, 15, 20, 25% lifesteal for its duration. That's actually a massive buff. It makes the hero way better at jungling. You can straight up justify not going... You're gonna max this. People might even go 1-4-1 just to be more sustainable in lane. Straight up. You can justify going the broadsword, like if you're going Battle Fury, which you probably are, you can go the broadsword, right? And you're not gonna have sustain issues in the slightest. And you can buy the Void Stone as an HP item and as a farming item. So it's like, you don't even need to go Ring of Health necessarily on this hero. You can just like you should max Phantom Strike as soon as you can, which you would do anyway, but like definitely don't put 3 points in Dagger because this is really strong. And it's like obviously insanely good like mid to late game. Like I'm looking at it from like an early game perspective, but mid to late game, lifesteal on a hero that hits really hard is like huge. That's a crazy buff, actually. Also, at level 20, she gets 60 Phantom Strike attack speed, potentially, if she wants it. And she can get the bonus blur at level 15, which makes her extremely This hero's survivability at level 15 with this bonus lifesteal and blur evasion is nutty. I don't want to say PA is good, because like, I generally think the hero's bad, but this is like one of the craziest buffs I feel like I've seen in a while. This is like freaking massive, actually. I know Phantom Strike is not a long duration, but you're hitting so much in that duration that it's obviously gonna make a big deal. All right, bit of a base HP regen to Peel, and they nerfed his health talent and gave him Spirit Lance damage. Val is out of touch, okay. Base HP regen increased by 1. Maybe that was intentional, maybe they're not out of touch, maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe they felt like the health talent was too good at 10, but there's no way. Why would you want Spirit Lance damage? Base HP regen on Phoenix increased. They also made the spirits better at level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they made this hero quite a bit better. They nerfed the 15 talent, which compensates for this, but obviously that's a buff, considering you don't have to wait till level 15. And they gave him an HP regen talent. So this hero is a way better laner. Much, much better in lane. Okay, nice. I think the hero is already pretty good, so this is just a straight up pretty big buff to Phoenix. All right, base HP regen on Primal Beast increased by 0.25. That's only 15 HP regen per minute. That's not that big of a deal, but it's something. Added Scepter. Uproar releases 3 waves of 2 projectiles per stack, which split in 2 after a 1.25 second delay. Each projectile deals 100 damage to enemies and applies break on them for 2.5 seconds. Now can be used while channeling spells. This seems 3 waves of 2 projectiles per stack. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I'll have to try that in a lobby. I have no idea. All right, and they buffed the shard. I don't think this hero is gonna be good though. I think its other abilities are just too underwhelming. Yeah, I think Primal Beast is unfortunately not good. Unless this Ags is the greatest thing known to man, which it might be. I don't think it is, but it could be. It looks pretty good. Like the numbers seem good, but I don't know. I can't tell. They also gave it a trample cooldown at level 15, which is a big deal. That's really nice. Puck, Illusory Orb cooldown at level 10. Nerfed with Illusory Orb damage. That's a huge nerf. Waning Rift damage decreased from 100 to 75 at 15. You can still take it. The level 20 talent was nerfed from 6 to 4. Definitely a big nerf. Okay. And then 1 second Dream Coil stun replaced with Break. Honestly, I would say this is pretty respectable. I feel like they didn't kill the hero, but it's like still viable for sure, because it still does puck things. But it's like quite a bit worse in just every way. And like the main things that made this hero broken in my opinion were probably the talents, that and Witchblade. Like, Witchblade isn't really inherently broken, Puck just uses it well. So, and Witchblade got nerfed a little bit. So, okay. I would say this is probably reasonable enough. I don't think Puck's bad. I think you definitely can pick Puck. If it's a good Puck game, you can pick Puck. It still coils, it still can buy Octarine and go crazy. Still can buy Witchblade and do a lot of damage. You wouldn't even take the level 10 talent until like level 14 sometimes, or 13, because of phase shift maxing for Blink Synergy. But, yeah, alright. Pudge, pretty big nerfs to Pudge in terms of mana cost. So Scepter bonus radius decreased by 25, not the end of the world. Mana cost increased from 35, 40, 45, 50 to actually way more at max at 30 mana, and they slightly nerfed 25. Do I think this hero is unplayable? Not in the slightest. Pudge is definitely still a very strong hero in the right games. Bit of mana problems, sure, but you can make up for that. You're just gonna have to use your Soul Ring to use Flesh Heap. Typically you would use it for Dismember, but just use it for Flesh Heap and you'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be okay. I think the hero is still quite strong. Pugna, Netherward, no longer gives spell damage reduction. Base damage increased from reworks. This is so horrible. Like, this hero is trash. This makes it completely unplayable. This better be some massive buff. Reworked Scepter reduces cooldown by 50%. When targeting an enemy hero, Pugna reduces their outgoing spell damage by 8% per second, up to 75%, and increases his own up to a maximum of 100%. When used on Netherward, the rate is 4%. Debuff lasts 8 seconds. I mean, what this implies is that this hero is strictly a core, because the only reason it would be viable now is absolutely not Netherward. The only reason it could be viable is buying Shard and Axe, which is very expensive, and it means you're not buying a defensive item or Octarine Pugna, which does not feel good. I mean, it's a lot of bonus spell amp, but like, you have to channel. I feel like Valve once again is like a little bit out of touch with this change. They've done this multiple times where they like give Pugna the ability to like be good if he can channel Life Drain, but at least I think. And you just can't really channel, like, you're not channeling Life Drain. You just can't really just channel this ability. It's like very not straightforward to channel Life Drain. So, I don't know. It means this hero's only really it's only a core. only a core. Nah, I don't know. Pugna's probably just garbage. Shadow Strike, Reworked Scepter. Shadow Strike, initial damage is increased by 80 and is applied to all enemies in a radius around the target. When Shadow Strike ends or is reapplied to an enemy hero, the target emits a scream of pain hitting any nearby enemies. Does it trigger on illusions or on death? Doesn't trigger on death. Why would it not trigger on death? Okay, but basically, that's probably pretty good, because Dagger is a 4-second cooldown, and it increases the damage of Dagger just by 80 flat, which is something, and then it puts it on every enemy in the area, and when Shadow Strike is reapplied, which is only a 4-second cooldown, it emits a scream of pain. So, like, if people are close to each other, that's gotta be insane, right? Alright, let's do a quick test of this Quap Axe, only because I'm very interested in it. So, the question is, does it do the scream damage to the hero? Okay, does it do it to the hero, or does it just do it to the heroes around it? Because then it's not that good. So it's not that good. I thought it would potentially be kind of broken, but the problem with it is it only screams, even though it seems theoretically kind of good and like situationally it can do a crap ton of damage, like there is some viability to it for sure. The big issue with it is, does it work on creeps? No, it doesn't. See, it doesn't work on creeps, which means you can't really use it to shove waves that effectively. It's like okay against waves, but the thing, if it worked on the hero that you casted it on, it would be viable, because then you could kind of like nuke a hero down, but nah, I don't think it's that good. I think it's actually bad. If it worked on the hero you casted it on, it would be good. Razor, base movement speed decreased from 290 to 280, that's a big nerf. Buff duration decreased from 15 to 9. Ooh! That is a huge nerf. Now it can be cast on a target that already has static link debuff. Ability still cannot be cast on an enemy currently linked to Razor. Rework Shard now always hits up to 3 valid targets even if the attacker caster of the incoming spell is magic immune. I mean, I feel like they kind of just roughed up this hero by making static link 6 seconds worse and giving him 10 less movement speed. It's like way worse in lane. Like way worse. Damn. Yeah, it's just way worse. Yeah, I don't know. Is Razor... Nah, I don't think Razor's viable. Because the reason... It could be viable as like a scaling right clicker, but the thing is, it's just so much worse in lane now. Like, it's just so much worse in lane. And they nerfed the refresher build so hard, so you can't really do that. You can, and the refresher build still is viable. The link is just so much worse early on. And you don't want to max this ability, which just makes it worse mid-game too. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see the heroes not playable, but it's way more situational now. It's way more situational, I think. Blink Strike, bonus damage decreased from 40, 60, 80 to 100. Okay, so they nerfed bonus strike, but Agi damage multiplier is now doubled against creeps. Well, alright. They've been doing this for a lot of heroes. They've given it to Ricky now, which means he pushes in waves way faster. And he doesn't really jungle much faster, though, is the problem. He farms creep waves much faster, but he doesn't really jungle much faster. So, is the hero good? It's probably fine in pubs. It's way better in pubs now. I don't know if it's good at a high level, but I think it's good in pubs. Rubik, base armor increased by 1. It's pretty good. Mana cost decreased on telekinesis. That's nice. And jump reduction. Okay, so they just made Rubik better overall. I don't think the hero was bad, so pretty big Rubik buff, especially 1 base armor, because he only has like, I think 2 or 3. Burrow Strike cast range increased by 75 at level 1. That is massive for disengaging. So actually huge buff to Sanking at level 1. Also, Burrow Strike's stun duration talent at level 1 is really good too. They also buffed the damage per second on Sandstorm, if you want to take that. Both talents are very good. Depends on how your game's going, I'd say. If you're snowballing really hard, you can take Sandstorm. If you're not, take the Burrow Strike stun. But really big buff to Sand King. I don't think it makes the hero viable, but it is a huge buff. Makes it way easier to get away from people in lane or even catch up to people. Replace Soul Catcher with Disseminate. Whenever the target takes damage, all enemies, including the target itself if it is an enemy, within 600 range of the target also receive 20, 25, 30, 35% of that damage. Can target enemy and allied units. Effect is paused if the enemy is hidden by disruption. Okay, so it pauses the duration. Lasts for 6 seconds. That is a crazy ability. It's like a Fatal Bonds on steroids, and you can use it on teammates. So if your teammate is getting gone on, like if they're getting gone on, you can use this on them. And the cast range is extremely big. This is insane. I feel like this ability is insane. I guess it is only 600 range. That's the thing. 600 range isn't that big, but situationally, this ability isn't crazy. If the range was like 1,000 or 1,200, it would be broken. It'd be straight up broken. But there's like a decent chance mid to late game you're going to be out of the range. Still probably an insane ability. Probably an insane ability. Maybe even too strong. It's like a Fatal Bounce on crack. Maybe it can be dispelled, which is good. So yeah, it can probably be dispelled. Base damage increased by 2 on SF. Debuff now applies a stackable 30% turn speed slow and 50% movement speed slow per consecutive stack. Whoa. What the? You can't even move. You're like Sticky Nape. What the? Ah, that is gross. This hero is nasty. It has 2 more damage in lane, and you can't move if you get raised. That's actually so strong. What the hell? That is maybe the biggest buff of the patch, unironically. Scepter now additionally reduces cooldown by 30. Whoa. And now you can buy the Scepter and justify it. Okay, this hero as a spellcaster might be viable. The thing is, it's like not even just as a spellcaster, it's just like way better as a right clicker too now. Like 15% movement speed slow makes hitting every raise way easier and makes you be able to right click them and makes it harder for them to chase you. It's like insanely strong actually, this change. Holy. Oh, it starts with the second one. Okay, so it's not just after 1 stack. So you do have to hit them with 2, but that's... Okay, I guess you have to hit them with the second one. So I guess it's not that OP, but it's good. Base damage decreased on Shaman, but the cast range on Shackles was increased. But it was nerfed on the Shard, and the turn rate on Serpent Wards was... Okay, so pretty huge nerf to Shaman. They did increase the cast range of Shackles, but they nerfed the Shard one, so it's like the same. It's overall a buff, though. Weird turn rate on Serpent Wards. Definitely odd. Base attack time on Silencer reduced by a lot, but base attack time was improved. I actually don't know what that implies, to be honest. Silence damage multiplier decreased. Penalty duration increase per cast decrease. So they nerfed Arcane Curse, I think. This just seems like straight up a nerf, right? Yeah. Rework Shard now causes every 4th glaive attack to silence enemies for 1.75 seconds. Additionally, increases intelligence stolen on attack and on kill by 2. So you steal int like crazy. So you steal a ton of int on attack. Intelligence multiplier decreased though on Last Word. Intelligence multiplier now works on units that don't have intelligence. Treats them as having 0. Wow, if you're really stupid, it just doesn't work. I don't feel like this hero's good. They're like trying to make it a right clicker or something. Like some sort of like, because they made its base attack time better. So they're trying to make it a right click core. Maybe it's some, but the shard doesn't bounce anymore, which was like really cool because it would let you farm, but it doesn't do that anymore. So you don't yeah, I don't know. This seems like just a nerf. Because they made the abilities just worse. So it's like you really have to bank on the shard and right-clicking, but that's not, I don't know, it's just bad. It's just bad. Arcane Bolt increased. Shield of the Skyon. Rework Shard. Every time Skyrat deals magic damage to an enemy with his abilities, he gains a buff that grants 2 bonus intelligence and 5 armor. Isn't that like the same as the other one? He gains a buff that grants 2 bonus int and 0.5 bonus armor. But it doesn't tell you how long it stacks for. Dude, Valve! Why can't you say how long it stacks for? I don't know if it's good or not. It's probably not good. Still, Slaughter now passively grants 2, 4, 6, 8 HP regen and 1, 2, 3, 4 armor while in water, which works when you ulti them. Scepter armor bonus increased from 10 to 11. Mana cost rescaled, so it's slightly worse at level 1, but better at max. Now creates a 250 radius puddle of water that lasts 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Scepter still makes a bigger puddle. So does this small puddle give you the status resist and so on? I would imagine no, but it does give you HP regen. Technically at level 1, it's only 6 HP regen, which is pretty underwhelming. It's not a very large amount of armor, but the thing is this HP regen works and this armor works when you ulti. It's actually a big buff to Slaughter. It's just a bit more mana regen in general. I mean HP regen, which like helps him in the lane. It's like a bit more. Definitely matters. Technically, you're not maxing either of these abilities early game, so it's not really better by a lot, but it's decent. It's decent, and then it's just good like when you're ulti, because when you ulti someone, it creates a puddle of water behind them. I don't know if you guys know that, but it does, and so it is good in that regard as well. Slark, agility gain decreased from 1.7 to 1.5. Base attack speed increased though, from 110 to 120, so definitely much better at level 1. Pounce no longer deals direct damage, now applies 0, 1, 2, 3 stacks of Essence Shift. Whoa. So you steal stats? So you get 9 agi if you pounce someone. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You definitely take that. That's definitely a buff. The thing is, it doesn't give you any at level 1. And this hero is such a bad laner, and it's definitely still a bad laner. It does have 10 more attack speed, which is good in the lane, but I don't know. Yeah, this hero's not really good. Health regen per second rescaled from max health to health. So I think that's better early game. I think it's like, well, if you have 1,000 HP, that's 50 HP per second, and you're gonna have that. Okay, so this isn't better, it's worse, right? Yeah, I think this is just worse. I guess they were afraid of this Pounce being good, so they nerfed the ult, but it doesn't really seem better. I think this hero is just not that good. I mean, you're stealing a lot of Essence Shift when you Pounce, and you could buy Ags, which is interesting, but I don't think it really makes the hero good, necessarily, even though you're getting 9 Agi when you Pounce someone. Snapfire, Fire Snap Cookie. Rework Shard, Fire Snap Cookie increases hop range by 175 and launches a Mortimer's Kiss Glob along with the target unit. Okay, so they got rid of the other shard, which was a big part of this hero being viable. So, pretty big nerf. Projectile speed increased. Why? You don't even necessarily want the cookie to go much further. That's the problem. It's gonna literally make you miss. It's like accidentally gonna grief you. However, they did make the ability stun for 0.4 seconds longer and go out quicker. So, is Snapfire still viable? Yeah, you just can't go the Blink Shard build, but I don't think that's the end of the world because you can just buy other items. Like, you could just still go like Force Staff and Glimmer. You just can't buy the shard. And the shard was pretty broken. Like, it was a big part of this hero being viable. It really was, but that's alright. They also gave you a level 15 a 4-second Fire Snap Cookie cooldown, and they buffed the ability quite a bit, so I would say Snap is definitely still viable. Concussor Grenade now cannot be used while rooted or leashed. Oh, that's... Damn, they just straight up nerf Sniper. They did give it 30 headshot damage. That's probably... Nah, that's just a nerf. Yeah, it's just a nerf. Intelligence gain... They just nerf Sniper. Why? Why did they nerf Sniper? The hero was not that good. It was not even good. It was like, okay. Intelligence gain decreased on Spectre. Damage on Dagger is worse and applies an instance of Desolate to targets with no units. That is not... Okay, why did Okay, Spectre got nerfed. I didn't think the hero was good, but okay. Base mana regen on Spirit Breaker. That's pretty good. 30 mana per minute. It definitely matters. Stun duration buffed at level 1. Not really at the other level. Okay, it's a little bit better at level 2 as well. Rework Shard grants new ability Planar Pocket. Barathrum distorts the fabric of space, increasing his own magic resist by 25% and redirecting the first enemy spell targeted at an allied hero within a 900 radius towards him. Magic resistance is removed after the redirected spell has hit. Duration 6 seconds. So basically, Spirit Breaker can be extremely suicidal. It can keep his teammates alive, but he's got to be tanky enough to tank every ability in an AoE for... Oh, but it's only the first spell. Nah, this hero's not good. It's cool, but it's not good. Agi gain on Storm increased by 0.7, that's a lot. Base HP regen increased by 0.25, it's decent. 15 HP regen per minute. Shard no longer grants allied heroes the benefit of attack bounce talent. Oh, that's good, because that was broken. So they just buffed... They gave Storm so much Agi gain. Okay, well... They nerfed him at level 25, but they made his laning better, so I think Storm's gonna... They gave him a lot of Agi. A lot of Agi gain. Quite a ton, actually. Sven! I said I think this hero is gonna be broken. I called that this hero would be broken this patch. Let's see. Will it be broken? Base HP regen increased by 0.5. That's 30 HP regen per minute. That's pretty good. Now Scepter adds an autocast. If it's enabled, Sven does not travel with the Storm Hammer. That's trash. Don't buy the eggs. Duration increased on Warcry from 8 to 9. That's nice. Just good. Mana cost decreased. It's good. And cooldown. Oh, baby. I'm telling you, Sven might be the case. Sven might be the ticket. Cooldown is 20. No. It's 5 seconds better at level 1, 10 at level 2, and 15 at level 3. 15 seconds better at max. That is huge, considering you're also going to be taking your level 15 talent, which is 15 seconds off of God Strength. Meaning, God Strength will now be only an 80-second cooldown at level 15. And it's a better laner by a decent amount. And Warcry is better, which definitely matters. It's a good ability. It's a very strong ability. Okay, I'm saying Sven's good. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying it now. I think Sven is a solid hero. I don't think it's broken, but I think it's solid. I think it's super solid. Techies, Sticky Bomb slow duration increased. Now applies a basic dispel to the attacking enemy. Kind of weird. Scepter now also deal... Okay, I don't care. Minefield Sign has a very low cooldown. Duration decreased though by a ton. Cast time increased from 0 to 1. Now causes mines within 500 radius to be invulnerable. Oh my god, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Oh my, that is so toxic, dude. Dude, it's perma uptime on making mines invulnerable. I know it's only the red mines, but the reason why that's clearly very good is because when you blast off on someone, you put down the minefield sign, and then you put down the 3 bombs around them. To be fair, it does have a cast time of 1 second, so it kind of griefs a little bit. but you put down the bombs. Okay, no, it doesn't even creep that much. You blast off with the shard, you stun them, you put down the 3 bombs, and then you put down the minefield sign, and they can't kill the bombs. Or you could just put this down next to bombs near Roche, and then the enemy team, like, can't Roche. Apparently, Reactive Taser now applies a basic Dispel to the attacking enemy, which is so bizarre. Is that a nerf? Seems like a nerf. I don't know, weird. Templar Assassin Refraction. Okay, apparently Refraction is better at level 1, what? But she lost her 20 attack speed, but it was changed with 25 refraction damage, which is pretty good. I would say that's probably a nerf, but not by a lot. And refraction can be cast while disabled at level 15. Okay, you're definitely not taking that. You're going to take the attack range. They buffed TA, kind of. Like, the mana cost is very good early game. Turn rate improved on TB. Bonus HP regen. It's actually pretty good. And then the mana cost in Sunder was buffed at level 1. Also, at level 10, you can take a 3-second reflection cooldown, which is good some games. Oh, it's just a... Okay, instead of duration, it's cooldown. And that's... Okay, that's a nerf. No, that's just a nerf. Kraken Shell damage block increased. Okay, by basically nothing at level 1, but it scales well. The problem is you don't max this ability early game, so it's okay. It's something. Rework Shard grants the new ability Tendrils of the Deep. Releases a wave of tentacles in the targeted direction. They deal 50% of ravage damage and stun and... Whoa. 50% of ravage damage and stun. That's quite a lot. And travels 75% of the ravage radius. Cooldown 20 seconds. That is really strong. That's really strong, actually. So you just have a stun. You have like a setup stun. And it does quite a bit of damage. Keep in mind. Like, ravage is a pretty long duration stun and pretty high damage. I think it's 200 damage at level 1. So it's like 100 damage. It's a 100 damage nuke, which is fine. It's good for 1400 gold. And it stuns for 1.3 seconds. And it's an AoE, right? Which is pretty... And it's only a 20-second cooldown, so you're going to get multiple of these off in a fight. And you can use the farm, too. It's pretty good. Definitely legit. Pretty big buffs to Tide. Definitely a good shard. Kraken Shell Threshold. They got rid of one of his better talents, though, with Anchor Smash damage, which is definitely not as good. You'd rather the Kraken Shell Threshold. So pretty big nerf to Tide in that regard, though. So, I don't know. I don't think the hero's good necessarily, but these are pretty strong. Like, these are pretty big buffs. Strength gain on Timber increased. Oh, gosh. Timber always gets so many changes when he gets changed. He gets like 1 million changes. So he got more strength gain. Max stacks increased from 6, 12, 18, 24 to 10, 20, 30, 40, which is a nerf because you don't want to have to build up stacks. It's hard. Hero attacks grant 2 stacks. Okay, so I guess when you get hit by heroes, it's better though, but that's definitely a nerf overall, I would imagine. Bonus HP regen decreased per stack by slightly less than half, but that's a nerf because you don't get double the stacks, not even close. Bonus armor per stack decreased. Oof. All right, this hero got nerfed hard. Okay. yeah. No, this hero got nerfed hard because you can't keep up 40 stacks. It's actually such a weird change. Like the thing is, you're getting quote unquote double the stacks, which is from hero hits, which is like technically a buff because like the HP regen and armor is slightly more per hero hit, but you're getting less total in the lane. And you're getting less from creeps, which is how you build it up in the lane. And how you build it up when you're tanking tower, and you just get straight up less in that regard. They did give him strength gain. They also buffed the mana cost of Chakram, but it doesn't make the hero unplayable by any means. It's still playable. It's just so many stacks that you just cannot build up from creeps. It's like way too many stacks from creeps, and you can't really tank the towers, so I don't think it slaughters Timber, but it makes him way worse. I don't know if it makes him unplayable. It's actually such a big nerf when it comes to tanking tower. Holy. Oof. Okay, I don't know. Maybe Timber's just bad now. Laser, unplayable hero Tinker. Mana cost decreased. Channel time decreased on rearm by, okay, quite a lot, which is a big deal for the hero. And the mana cost was decreased, which is a lot. And you can cast more lasers. Now has a 8, 7, 6 second cooldown, which is also reset with rearm. If rearm is interrupted, it goes on cooldown. Oh, that's so bad. That is too good. I don't know, dude. That's so funny. That makes the hero so bad. I don't know, dude. I love how they take a hero that's so bad and they just make it like arguably worse. Like literally, if you get your thing canceled when you're split pushing, you just die. You're just 100% dead. Tiny mana cost increased on toss. Cast range reduced by 100 again. So this, okay. Grow no longer reduces attack speed by a flat value. Now reduces attack speed by 30%. Whoa. All item and spell bonuses as well. What? Bonus damage increased though. Alright, so they just made Tiny way worse. Like way worse. Yeah, they just made it way worse. Alright, well, Is it still gonna get picked? Probably, actually. Because the Echo Saber core build is still good. It's just like worse in terms of mana cost, which does matter because the hero's mana problems. It's still gonna get picked as a mid though, I think. Agility gain decreased from 2.0 to 1.8. Tooltip changed to display heal per second instead of total heal. Provides, that's stupid. And bonus armor increased from, it gives 6 armor at level 1? What in the crack? What the? Why does living armor give 6 armor at level 1? So if you're laning, you just armor yourself and you're invincible. It's actually kind of broken, I'm not gonna lie. I think this hero might be kind of stupid. Why does it give, it gives 6 armor at level 1, which means you can just take this ability, like leave it at level 1, which you kind of don't want to do in a lot of games, but you can go like 2-2-1 in terms of skill build. So you can have like, or like 1-2-1, so you can like feel very okay with not maxing it. You can even go like 1-4-1 and not feel that bad about it. The reason why you would feel bad about it is because you're not buffing the heal and you're not buffing the cooldown, so it's just so good at level 1 though. And you don't really care that much about your agi gain. The bonus movement speed from Nature's Guise is bad, but like, it's fine. So pretty insane how much armor this hero can give at level 1. It's actually kind of nuts. I'm going to ask my Treant, my 5 player to pick Treant. I'm just going to pick Pudge and he's going to armor me off cooldown. That sounds fun. Berserker's Rage. Ensnare now longer pierces spell immunity. Okay. Oh, that's actually huge. Oh, okay. I like read it. I'm like, is that a big deal? That is crazy. Because like the way to counter troll was just BKB and walk away. You just kite his ulti with BKB. But you can't do that anymore. Crazy, 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 crazy. Okay, that's a huge... Like, you guys don't understand how big of a buff that is for troll. That's actually freaking nuts. That's such a big buff to troll. I don't think it makes the hero broken, but it makes the hero way better. Like, way better. Like, way, way, way better. Tusk, bit of HP regen, a lot of mana regen. Stun duration on Snowball, way better, actually, at level 1. And now Walrus Kick is blocked by Lincoln Sphere. Okay. Well, the hero's a much better laner. It's a pretty nice buff to Tusk, I'd say. Walrus Kick is pretty situational as a support. Okay, Firestorm is... They nerfed it at max. It's better at level 1, but, like, that's not good, because, like, that's definitely a nerf. This is definitely a nerf. They buffed Fiend's Gate at level 1, but... Okay, they nerfed Underlord. Strength gain decreased on Undying. Debuff buff no longer modifies your health when expiring. Enemies no longer gain health, and a dying doesn't lose health on expiration. Wow. Really? Oh, that's a huge buff. And the cast point was increased, but they decreased the damage at level 1. But that's fine, because they don't get the health back. So it's basically, it's a buff. Huge Undying buff, actually. Whoa. Hero's way better. They must have nerfed the other abilities, right? Okay, they didn't nerf that. Cast point increased on Tombstone. That's not that bad. They increased the mana cost, but that's not that bad. Alright, Undying's just way better. Like, way better. Undying's way better. Like, this is such a big buff. I mean, I guess he lost some strength gain, but I don't know. I feel like this is such a big buff that this doesn't matter and this doesn't matter and this doesn't matter. But we'll see. I don't know. It's pretty crazy in lane. Pretty crazy. Like, very crazy in lane, actually. Not even pretty crazy. Very crazy in lane. And very crazy when you have Axe, if you go that route. I'm going to try this hero as a core. I think it's a good core. I think it's a very good core, actually. Earthshock, mana costing... Because the thing is, what this means is it does 80 damage at level 1 because it steals 4 strength. So it's just 80 damage flat instead of 20. It's crazy, actually. Crazy. Okay, mana cost on Earthshock. Change. Level 15 talent. Replaced with Earthshock applies 2 stacks of Fury Swipe. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's interesting. You lose Agi, though. And you lost your health talent, which is a good talent. I mean, I guess Earthshock applying 2 stacks of Fury Swipe is good. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's probably good enough to justify losing the health talent. And Earthshock cooldown at level 20. So basically, and Earthshock cooldowns are very good. Okay, it's actually this is an Ursa buff. It's an Ursa buff because your shard is really reliant on Earthshock cooldown too. So at level 20, your Earthshock, you can like constantly shard yourself, right? Which gives you Enrage on Earthshock. Whoa, that's a really cool level 25 talent too. And Rage, half benefits to allies in a radius. That's cool. You're not going to take that over overpower attacks. Probably not. I guess you could, situationally. But generally you're not. Earthshock cooldown at 20, and then this 2 stacks of Fury Swipe is very interesting. The problem is you're just losing your health talent, which sucks, but it's way better at you're way better at bursting people. So it's definitely good. It's definitely good. Cast range increased by a lot at level 1, so this hero's way better in lane. Shard no longer provides bonus magic missile cast range. Shard bounce range now mirrors current cast range. Okay. Advantage is probably still mediocre. Plague Ward mana cost slightly increased. Okay. Latent Toxicity. Rework Shard. Grants new ability Latent Toxicity. Applies a weak poison that slows by 10% and deals 20 damage per second to its target for 7 seconds. If this poison is dispelled in any way, the target will receive 300 damage and be stunned for 2 seconds. That's funny. Okay, so basically it's like, hey, if you want to dispel Gale, or if you want to dispel your other ability, you get nuked. It's a 20-second cooldown, which is not bad. It's cool. It's definitely a cool concept. So what is it? What is the cast range? It's only a 600 range, which is kind of bad. It's a projectile. Apparently it's an ability? It's a projectile? So it's like Gale or something? I don't know. Can it hit multiple targets? It's pretty good. It's actually a good shard though. And if it gets dispelled, like, which people are constantly dispelling themselves against Venom, they get stunned. And it's only a 20-second cooldown, so you can cast it quite often. It's good. It's definitely a buff. Because the other shard was pretty mediocre. I know people like the other shard, but I thought it was bad. It was just like, it was cool, but it was bad. Whoa, okay. Also, instead of health, you get Poison Sting HP regen reduction. 20% HP regen reduction, which is quite good. The thing is, you're buying Vessel most games anyway, so it's like kind of unnecessary. But it is good. Poison Sting HP regen reduction is interesting. Alright, Poison Attack, mana cost increased, so it's 24 at all levels again. Nether Toxin is way worse at level 1. Like, this ability is so shit at level 1, it's insane. Scepter now doubles damage and slows for enemies within 500 distance. Additionally allows corrosive... Okay, but the Scepter grants Nosedive. Viper slams into the ground, disarming enemies. Alright, this is just garbage. Alright, this hero got nerfed so hard. Holy. Damn, this is such a big nerf. It's actually crazy. It's like so much worse at farming. It's way worse in lane because of the mana. This Axe is like definitely crap. This is like not that good. I mean, I guess it helps you engage and disengage. Maybe it's not that bad, but like, you don't really want to buy Axe on Viper. You lost your 20 attack speed talent, but it's poison attack magic resist, which is actually a very strong talent. So that's probably okay. Nah, you'd rather 20 attack speed. You'd rather 20 attack speed. I don't want to say Viper's bad now, but it's like so much worse. Maybe it's just bad. It's probably good that they nerfed it though. I'm kind of glad. I think the hero was too strong, so I'm glad. Visage, mana cost increased on Soul Assumption. Familiar attack range increased from 160 to 180. Whoa. Okay, pretty big buff. Stun radius increased. Bonus damage decreased on the Ags though. Alright, so the hero I'd say is probably about the same. The familiar attack range is pretty nice though. It will help you hit towers from a bit further away and finish off kills. Rework Shard decreases Aether Remnant cooldown by 2, increases watch range by 150, and changes Remnant to persist through being activated by creeps. Oh, that's pretty good. Damage creeps once, but does not disappear. Now affects the closest unit to the Remnant rather than the one closest to the center line. Oh, so it's basically it's way harder to queue people when they're in a creep wave unless you buy the shard. It's not a bad shard because it decreases the cooldown on Aether Remnant, but like it's 150 gold. It does make it a bigger cast range, but it's pretty bad. It's probably a nerf. Outer Dissimulate Ring? Oh, at level 15 you can get the Shard Dissimulate Ring. Okay, that's probably pretty good. I think most people are gonna take that. Even though you're buying Ags, you're losing your damage though. And you don't want, oh boy, you lose your 12% spell amp at 20 now. Pretty, oh god, okay, why did they, wow, they kind of sharded on this hero. I didn't think it was a good hero. I don't know why they would nerf it. It's definitely nerfs. Shadow Word, worse at level 1. That's mean. They nerfed the heal, now deals an increasing amount of damage from 10 up to a maximum of 30, 50, 70, 90 every second. Whoa. Okay, so it does damage, which is, it can do up to 90 damage per second. But the cast range was decreased, so you can't just do it from really far away. But it's still 900 cast range. It's pretty good, actually. They did nerf the slow. I don't know. Upheaval does 30 damage per second. It lasts for up to 16 seconds. This ability is actually potentially insane. Aether Lens Warlock can actually do so much damage if you don't cancel Upheaval. That's actually crazy. This hero can literally shred you. Even in the laning stage. It can do like, I mean, it's up to a maximum, so like, I don't know how long it takes to get to the max, but it will probably do like 1,000 damage at max or something like that, which is like potentially nuts. So I could see people going like 414. Because like Fatal Bonds plus the AoE upheaval damage is kind of nuts. This hero might be cracked, actually. I can see this being insane. Aether Lens Warlock being kind of nutty. I guess it's being kind of nutty. It also works on creeps, right? So it helps you shove waves. Gives you wave clear. This is a huge buff. It gives you wave clear too. Big buff to Warlock. Even though they nerfed the heal at level 1, it's not by that much. You would definitely rather have this. You know, it's a good trade. And you get upheaval radius at level 20, at level 10, which you definitely should take, I think. Because like this ability is insane. I don't think the hero's broken, but it's definitely good. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's broken. Rework Shard, Sakuchi perks a mark on enemies that lasts for 6 seconds. When Gemini attack procs, enemies with a mark will also be attacked. Okay, that's trash. Strength gain reduced. Scepter no longer makes Windrun undispellable. Scepter now grants invisibility that doesn't break attacking and casting spells. Light Windrun effect is created around the Wind Ranger position where she attacks from invisibility. Slow Blind no longer lingers when the enemy comes magic immune. So basically you can hit people while invis with Axe, which is cool but not that good. It's good in Lomamar, bad if the enemy is competent. Minus 5% power shot penalty with radius. Power shot damage, Windrun cooldown. Oh god. Alright, I don't know. Wind Ranger. This is not good. Strength decreased from 24. Oh my. Why did they do this? They just made the hero viable again and then they just take a fat dumpy on it. Why did they do this? They made Cult Embrace worse cast range. And you typically lead this ability at level 1, so it's bad. They gave it less strength, and then they made the flight duration 3 seconds less. Why would they do that? I think the hero, I don't think it's unplayable, but I think it's like literally a million times worse again. Why did they do that? Oh, here we go. I said that this hero is going to be broken. I said it's going to be broken. Let's see. Base attack range decreased from... Oh, come on. Why would you make its attack range worse? Initial cast projectile speed from 1,000 to 1,200, but the cast range was decreased. That's not good. Radius increased on the heal, but only if you scale it, but it's worse at level 1. Now it deals damage to enemies for the same amount of healing. I mean, that's cool, but you can't really go melee range as heroes as Witch Doctor, because your hero's base movement speed and armor is trash, so you can't really use that too well. I guess you could in some matchups, but now has 50% bonus accuracy, chance to ignore evasion. That's pretty good. Because like against heroes like PA, your death ward was just garbage because it can miss. So this is quite nice. It's a good change. But I don't know. Feels like a nerf. They're like telling you to like go melee range of heroes and turn on your heal, which is like bizarre. I mean the skill build, the skill build's so weird too because the heal is way worse, right? And so you don't want to put, you want to put 2 points in Voodoo, but like it's very easy to die when heroes are level 3 and that's when you're level 3. So you can't. This is stupid. Why did they do this, man? I wanted this hero to be good this patch. Why did they make it so weird? 50 attack range is freaking massive in the lane. You really don't want to do that. Like this heal concept is cool and it's interesting because like you trade extremely well, but not by that much better because you have to keep them in the range. Like you'd rather just heal your teammates for more and heal yourself for more. God, why did they do that? It doesn't make the hero bad, but it's just, oh God, I don't know. They made the shard better. That's good. I don't know. This hero's good. I think the hero's good, but it's not that good. Wraith King, base HP regen. Okay. Skeleton duration reduced. Whoa, why? The hero's not that good. Level 10 talent. They got rid of the attack speed and replaced it with 25% skeleton duration and skeleton summon cooldown. That's pretty good though. Is that that's the talent, right? Yeah. I mean just the cooldown of the ability. That's pretty strong. You could take that. It's really good. Having a lowered cooldown, because like typically as the hero is scaled, it's good. It's good. Because you can take this talent, feel pretty fine about it, and then like 15 attack speed's good, but this is like quite strong because you get so many more skeletons. It's actually really nice. And finally, oh my gosh, we're on the last change. I can't believe it. If you made it to the end, my God, you're a legend. If you watched the whole video, comment, I love gameleap so much. All right, Zeus, Heavenly Jump cooldown increased from 25, 20, 15, 10. Okay, they made it way worse at max. Slow decreased from 100 to 80%. That's definitely a nerf. And the duration was crushed. They nerfed the shard. Oh, ugh. All right, I don't know. I feel like Zeus is not. This is freaking massive nerfs. Holy. All right, I think Zeus is probably just kind of bad. All right, they did give him a level 10 Heavenly Jump cooldown or health. So you can get your health talent at 10, but then you're not taking mana regen. So you lost your mana regen talent for health, which is like okay at 10, but or you can take Heavenly Jump cooldown, but like so you just get the same ability for a talent, you're losing your talent. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say Zeus is probably bad. It's just such a I don't think the hero is unplayable by any means. I think it's still fine conceptually. It still gives vision when it ults. It still does 8% of your health, but pretty huge nerfs, really. Really huge nerfs, actually. So, all right. You're going to have to go for a 4-4-1 skill build with Aether Lens to make the hero playable. That would be the skill build. I don't think you want to max Heavenly Jump anymore. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to put out a build as soon as I can on top 5 or top 10 builds to try in the patch. I'm going to be experimenting with so many builds in pubs, as many as I can. And I hope you guys are too. If there's any hero you think is broken, drop it in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say and what you think is going to be OP. But all right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.